Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Naven Gaming. Only it's more so Naven Reacts, because I'm back at it again, reacting to another Shoe on Head video. Because why the hell not? I don't hate Shoe on Head's content, and the last I checked, the last one fucking did phenomenal. Well, the last one. But, anyways, you get my point. So, this one is called Blame the Voters Responding to Democrat Criticism. Now, I've already seen this video. I'm not gonna lie, and I've seen other people's reaction to this video, and I have thoughts. Boy, do I have some thoughts. It's really funny how much people either just don't get the bit, or they don't seem to understand the concept of just being a decent person, or even what a decent person actually is. But we're going to get into that into the video. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and just jump right into it before I ramble on and it just takes over the fucking video. All right, here we are. Without further ado, Shoe on Head. Let's get this going.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Shoe on Head channel. I am your host, Shoe on Head. You may know me on Reddit as generic far-right Fox News bigot, or perhaps you know me as Commie Mommy. You people need help. Anyway, my last few videos about the election got a lot of attention, as well as brought a lot of new people to the channel. So everyone say hello to the new people. Please welcome the new people. Please be polite to them. Educate them on what to expect here. Just don't tell them about the contraption. But not all the attention I got from my election videos was good attention. So I've decided today I am going to respond to those critics. I figured it's been a while since I actually responded to a response that I've gotten on YouTube. It's very old school, very 2012 YouTube. All I need is a rant Sona and I'm set. So that is what we're going to do today. I'm going to respond to criticism rationally and calmly.
I can't bring up my OBS. What the hell?
Reactions of two different videos of mine, America is in Shambles and Downfall of the Democrats. If you haven't seen those videos, I will put them down in the description so you have more context. I highly suggest you watch them before you watch this video. Pause this video, go watch them. Don't worry, I will be right here. I've been here for 10 years. Will I be doing this in 10 more years? Will I be a 43-year-old e-girl? I guess we'll...
Oh. Okay. Okay, that was weird. So I guess sorry, my other laptop that I'm using for recording was being fucking weird for a second. I don't know if it got that first bit. I don't know if it was like if the video was stunted on this end, but it was just acting funny. I've noticed that since the driver updates, that a lot of my computer mechanisms are having a really interesting time trying to do anything anymore. There was even an update to OBS earlier, and I didn't want to touch that yet until after the recordings for today, because I know that if I did that, it probably fucked something else up. And I already went through the hassle of trying to fix my gaming laptop. Because, much to my own chagrin, I had the fucking brainlet decision idea to buy myself a fucking Alienware laptop, and so I've been regretting that decision ever since. It's been pretty good, it's been serviceable, but my god, do they not work at all? If it's one thing that I am going to completely beat this brand over the head for, is that its command systems and its hardware mechanics, all of the things that help you control the laptop, among other things, is dog shit. And the service that they have for it is dog shit. And from what I understand, they're going to stop updating the stupid thing because apparently they realize we're actually really shit at trying to maintain our own optimizations, and we're handing that shit over to Dell. I guess. I have no idea. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents on that. But anyways, it would look like my recording laptop was having a weird meltdown, so sorry about that. But it looks like we're fixed. Looks like we're still going. It looks like everything's still working.
We'll wait and see. Now, a lot has happened since my last
Okay, yeah, everything's still working. All right. Anyways, back to the video.
video. It's been like, what, 2 months? That's like 10 years in internet time. There's so much going on in the news, it's honestly hard to keep up. Oh, that reminds me. I have an app for that. Let's quickly get into today's sponsor, a sponsor I've been working with for many years now, Ground News. Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers an easy and transparent way to read the news from left, right, and center. Every
Oh, okay. For a second there, I thought it was cut off for a second. I'm like, wait, is it catching my dashboard again? My model being clipped on my dashboard. Sorry.
story comes with a quick visual breakdown of political bias that helps you understand the full story and make sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features of Ground News is the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here is a story about how a Mississippi senator filed a contraception begins at erection bill that makes it, quote, unlawful for a
Okay, I've seen this ad read before a few times, and I still find that part to be particularly weird. Just like, what do you like? What like? I get what it is. It's basically a law against masturbation, but it's like, really? Don't you have better things to worry about? Oh yeah, with that. If you try to oh yeah, it says it right there. A person to discharge genetic material without the intent of fertilizing an embryo, then yeah, that would be against the law according to this bill, this act. And it's just like, don't you people have something better to be worried about than whether or not people release the beast, so to speak, or just shoot the proverbial DNA into anywhere else that is, like, into the ether? It's like you really are worried about this. This is the thing we're spending government dollars on.
Person to discharge genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo. An anti-gooner bill.
Yeah.
It's an anti-gooner bill. Right
Yeah.
away, we can see that the story has been covered by 16 sources. 40% of it left-wing, only 17% of it right-wing. You could even see who owns these reporting outlets. Ground News also makes it really easy to compare headlines to see how political bias can affect framing. For example, this right-wing headline, President Donald Trump and Melania Trump's 20th wedding anniversary, see the photos. And this left-leaning headline frames the same story like this. President Trump's anniversary shout-out to Melania is loaded with red flags. This feature is so much fun. I am obsessed with it. I have been using Ground News since 2021, and it really helped me see how both sides frame stories so differently. I'm currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the one I use to access all their features. So go to ground.news/shoe, or use the QR code on screen here, or click the link in the video description down below and subscribe today. I highly suggest checking it out. They're one of my favorite sponsors to work with because I think what they're doing is extremely important, helping people approach the news in a more balanced way. So take advantage of this discount today, ground.news/shoe, or clicking the link down below. Thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you for not skipping the ad, as always. And now, let's get back to the video.
I never do. And also, as far as Ground News is concerned, I don't really care. I'm not that into the news or political scene to really want to pay attention or care to pay attention to that shit anymore. I'll have wings of it, like around election times and around when crazy shit's going on, then I'll pay attention, but for the most part, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I'd rather just play games, and that's it. I do pay attention tangentially through other podcasts, YouTubers, among other things, and sometimes I'll see articles that pop up on my search windows but for the most part, I just don't care. I really don't. I hate this shit. There's never a really good reason to pay attention to this stuff other than what's the talking points going on right now, and then it's usually the same usual suspects, right? If the left aren't bitching and whining about some stupid shit involving um race, immigration, among other things, and if it isn't the right basically talking about wanting to make tariffs, and for some bizarre reason, Donald Trump wants to convert Denmark into another American state or some shit. It's like there's the Gulf of America. I just reminded myself of that, but it's like if it isn't the crazy stupid shit that the left is constantly spewing about, it's the bizarre, weird, crazier shit that Donald Trump wants to do in office. Some of those things were pretty goated. Like, for example, he did recently sign a bill that fully discloses the assassinations on JFK, Ronald Reagan, and among others, among one other. And it's like, oh yeah, and MLK. That's what it was too. It was JFK, MLK, Martin Luther King, and I think it was Ronald Reagan. Now I think about it. Wait, was Ronald Reagan assassinated? I don't know. I think I'm having a brainlet moment. I think I'm having a moment. I'm having a YouTube poop, so to speak. But you get what I mean. That's an interesting bill that he signed, and I'm like, I don't think I needed to know the answer to these questions, but interesting. It'd be an interesting thing to know. So yeah, can't wait to see those. I mean, unless they're already out. I mean, they should be already out, right? I mean, like, you think they just take a file and if it's not on a computer, they could just, like, take pictures of the file and just send it across the interwebs or some shit. I don't know. Or they could just have it scanned through, like, a scan reader or something like that. Like, I think some printing, machines do allow for that sort of thing. All right, anyways, enough of that. Getting back to it. Sorry for the tangent.
So, what has happened since my last video? Well, Biden is gone. He is out of office. He has somehow completed a 4-year term, which means
Biden's out of office. Let's fucking go. No, seriously, though. The fucking zombie's out. Hooray. Congratulations, everybody. Fucking the master class of disaster. The master disaster. The absolute atrocity. The fucking vegetable himself is finally out of office. Holy shit. It's amazing. And just like any other good vegetable in office, he had to make sure that he had to pardon his own fucking son for the disgusting shit he's into. Although I can't be the only one to speak, the only one to talk. I have seen some shit myself, and let me tell you, there are some holes that I've seen. Actually, I probably should paraphrase that, but it's like, yeah, there's been some rabbit holes that I've seen that I myself am kind of guilty of, but it's like, I don't know. The stuff that's on his laptop seems very, very fucking concerning. Oh yeah, and you know what's funnier too, by the way? He didn't just get pardoned for that. He got pardoned for that, and he got pardoned for other things he might have done within the span of that period of time from which he was caught. In other words, motherfucker Hunter Biden literally got a pardon for any crimes he committed within the time span of the laptop incidents and among other things. And it's like, how the fuck do you get a pardon for something like that? I didn't even know that was a thing you could pardon. Could the president also pardon someone for future shit? Like for future crimes that that they might do? Is that a thing they can also do? That opens doors to questions that I never thought about that I never thought would be considered, but it boggles my mind. Truly. Anyways, congratulations, everybody. The vegetable's gone. God bless America. Moving on.
means, that's right, Dave Rubin has to retire.
If Joe Biden completes a 4-year term, actually completes a 4-year term, I will retire.
It also means, once again, Trump has been
Damn. Rip that guy. Rip Bozo. But no, seriously though, if I was in his position, not only would I have done that, not only would I have retired, I would have been like, well, I guess I'll retire from this and go and move on and do something else, or I just take the money that I've spent that I've built up and just rest on my laurels because I don't know who that fucking guy was. What was his name?
Dave Rubin has to retire.
Oh yeah, Dave Rubin. He's a pretty popular name. He's probably got a lot of money stored up somewhere. He probably would have. Oh yeah, the Rubin Report. Yeah, he's got his own show and everything. He definitely would have some enough money to last him for the rest of his days if he spends it frugally and he's wise about it, wise about his expenditure. He'd probably also get royalties for the fact that he had his own show and people would watch it. So there you go. All the boomers, anyways, who watch his show. I don't know anyone who actually watches that shit. I don't think there's a single Gen Z, millennial, or some baked out of their brain fucking moron who actually listens to mainstream media anymore. But, albeit apparently some people still watch The View. I don't know what crazy fucking person other than a bleeding heart, moralistic, liberal-esque harpy would be into that sort of thing. But actually, yeah, you know what? No, it's true. The View is crazy. The View is absolute dog shit. I don't know who would watch that, and if there is anybody who watches that, you probably have problems. You probably should just stop. You should just stop. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say you have problems. I'm not gonna knock you for it, but I am gonna say you need to stop right now. You just need to stop. Those women are not at all. They do not represent anybody other than themselves. They are literally the most out of touch creatures I have ever seen. Some of the things that I've seen them talk about, and even just some of the clips, the snippets that I've seen, it's just like, who watches these people?
Joe Biden completes a 4-year term, actually completes a 4-year term, I will retire.
It also means, once again, Trump has been inaugurated. And this time, all our favorite characters were there. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos' wife's tits, Mark Zuckerberg. Frankly, it's disgusting.
I like that frame. That is the best frame imaginable. Just like, oh yeah, just gonna stare at the Jeff Bezos' wife's tits. That's a great idea. I mean, they must be truly something else if he's actually bothering to stare down and look at them. Or maybe he thinks like most fucking people and he's just like, oh, I'm untouchable. No one's gonna fucking accuse me for shit. I don't know. I don't know how these people think.
Disgusting seeing billionaires so openly and brazenly support our government officials. They should be doing it behind the scenes like they've been doing for decades. Ladies and gentlemen, the elites have a
Yeah, that's the part that bothers me too, is that they all came out for Trump, and it's like, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like the fact that the established elite just literally came right out of the gates and are just like, we're all for you, Donald Trump. Here is our our plans and our talks and our support for you. We're gonna definitely be all in line for your endeavors or whatever the fuck they were doing. And it's just like, I don't understand that. Granted, the left has really fucked it when it comes to culture, to the point to where people are making money, making the shit that they want to make. But it's like, for most of the established elites, especially within tech, to come out of the woodwork and just be like, hey, we're all for this guy. I don't know. That just seems a little weird to me. I find that very fucking concerning, but, whatever. Honestly, as long as gas prices are not as high and everything, lowers in price and goes back to center, goes back to kosher, I'll be entirely fine with anything. As long as the fucking prices go down. Oh, and affordable housing, that would be nice. That would be really fucking nice to have some actual affordable housing. Ugh. I would like to move out at some point. I am currently snowed in my house right now. It is snowing where I live at. And last time I checked, last night, someone got their car stuck. Got completely, stuck in there. It's buried under snow and mud. Ish, kind of, like they basically got their car stuck because they're tire no traction on slippery sloping mud and snow, and so their car's just kind of stuck there until a tow truck comes. I'm sure they probably got it done at some point today, but it's at the time of this recording. But it's interesting. You know what? It's also been a while too since I gave you guys an update on this on other things too. I had no water for a while. I was washing myself out of buckets for a bit because apparently we had a pipe leak. It was truly something. And no matter how well I washed myself, apparently I still managed to have my hair look very, I wouldn't say, how do you put that? It looked greasy still, despite the fact that I tried to wash it as well as I could with a bucket of water, and the fact that I had, my head and shoulders and everything, brands to work with. But anyways, no matter how much I thoroughly washed it, it still looks scraggly. My hair still looks scraggly, and apparently, according to some, I did smell, and that tracks because I couldn't wash my fucking clothes. But, yeah. The price you pay when you live in the sticks. But, that's neither here or there. Sorry about that. Let's just move on. Nobody cares about my life.
Officially bent the knee. And it seems with the popular vote came the sudden and long overdue death of woke capitalism. Rest in piss. Although I never did get to try those gay Oreos. You don't know what you got till it's gone. The inauguration was a beautiful celebration for Republicans, full of...
She's onto something. What do those Oreos taste like? What does a rainbow cookie Oreo actually taste like? Does it taste any different? Because they have birthday cake flavor. They had a strawberry sundae flavor, I think. They have the mint flavor, which is obviously going to be like the second most popular from the usual. But they had their Oreo's ability to try to make themselves something else, to try to diversify their cookie brand it's kind of fruitless, but the attempt is admirable because, they have the ultimate cookie. They've already got it. They already got the best cookie imaginable, all right? The Oreo is a really great cookie just on its own. You don't need to do anything else with it. Oreo practically sells itself. What could you possibly do to make this better? Give it different flavors? Would these flavors even make it better? I haven't tried birthday cake. I've tried mint. I didn't care for the mint. It's just mint. Oreo's already a great cookie. I don't know what else you could do to the Oreo cookie to make it a better cookie. It seems like the ceiling is just too high on this one, dog. I think you need to to consider maybe just making a new cookie entirely if you're that concerned about it. I believe Nabisco owns that brand. Nabisco. Just make a new cookie. Make a new fucking cookie. That's all you need to do. Stop trying to make Oreo into something else. Seriously, the fucking rainbow-colored Oreos. What would that have tasted like? Unless it tastes like body odor and I'm not, I'm just going to leave that one. If it doesn't taste like body odor or something around the concept of fluids, I don't think I don't think it's going to be truly accurate to the namesake of what the cookie is trying to represent. Look, I have a right to say this, okay? I've been to one of these fucking like little social justice, one of these LGBTQ type of like not really rallies, but I've been to one of their like meetings and places. They're essentially their hangout places once. And if they weren't talking about shit that I didn't care about, they were talking about shit that, surprisingly enough, they were just normal people talking about things that normies would talk about. Like they were like one of them went to I believe like a Taylor Swift concert, and they were completely losing their mind over the fact that they went to a Taylor Swift concert. And then some people were talking about their lives, but the general thing that I took away from the experience is some of you people smell and you need to wear deodorant. And it's just yeah, it's just, that's all I took away from that. You people need to wear some fucking deodorant. Anyways, then that was back when I lived in California. That was some shit.
Joy and whimsy, and a complete humiliation ritual for the Democrats. Bye, Joe. Thanks for all the fucking nothing. Your legacy will be having dementia, aiding a genocide, and handing the country over to Donald Trump on a silver platter. Executive order after executive order.
I mean, I don't think anyone is ever going to not give him shit for the Afghanistan incident. That shit was terrible. Just absolutely god-awful. Just completely fumble that bag. Just, holy shit, how did you fuck that up? Like, everyone called him out on it. Even his own campaign called him out. It was something to behold, truly.
Order, pardon after pardon, Trump got to work enacting his mandate on day one. But even as all this is happening, Trump seems to be on this bizarre side quest to conquer Canada and Greenland. But if we're gonna annex Canada...
I'm gonna talk about side quests. I saw Dr. Oz try to basically catch and then hand over an illegal alien who was determined to be an SA, a proverbial a hard R to women, and I find that to be the strangest fucking thing to be going through the cycle, but it's like, I mean, it was, well, who was it? It wasn't Dr. Did I say Dr. Oz? I didn't mean Dr. Oz. I think it was, who the fuck was it? It was the guy, it's the old guy who talks to people on a show, who's a licensed doctor, talks to people, and he confronts them about their problems, and about, so he's mostly a he's got a show about tackling family issues and psychological things. And fuck, what was his name? I don't remember. The guy, but yeah, you might see videos of it, going around the place. It's probably mostly famous on TikTok or something, but it's like, oh yeah, TikTok got banned and rebanned. That was a weird thing that happened. But anyways, point being, like, we have people literally going on, we have famous people, famous doctors going out on side quests, finding actual degenerate aliens, and then handing them over to the border police. That's some shit. That is actually some shit. Man, it's, what fucking time we live in, man. It's going to be an interesting 4 years, to be sure. To be sure. It's going to be an interesting 4 years.
Canada and make it great again. Can we at least get their healthcare without the wait times or the assisted side? Can't there just be a...
No, better yet, can we get the Canadian healthcare just, without the mistreatment of their doctors? Like, that was the one thing that I heard about that really bothered the shit out of me. It's like, oh yeah, we treat our doctors like we treat video games developers. It's like, excuse me? Again, the most terrifying story, I don't know if I mentioned this in a video, but the most terrifying story I've ever heard was that they had a surgeon who they have come in almost every single day. And he's there working at least 9 to 12-hour shifts daily, just doing surgeries, one after the other. And he was just a fucking wreck the whole time. They have one surgeon for an entire hospital. And it's just like, how the fuck do you have it this bad? And it's one of the reasons why I think the Canadian Prime Minister, that's another... Have any of you seen the Canadian Prime Minister that they have going on right now? He is so based. So based. I have never seen a more based politician. He is truly he's truly an interesting sort. That guy, he cuts through bullshit immediately. I've watched him do an interview with a journalist who tried to catch him on the usual buzzwords, and he's just like, what the fuck does that mean? What are you talking about? What are these questions? Can you give me an actual question that is something that people actually give a shit about? And it's just like, oh, well, like some people say this and some people say that. And you're just like, well, who are these people? What are these things that they're saying? What is your question? The most based prime minister, or the most based politician running for the position of being prime minister of Canada. I don't know, or whatever the fuck that position is. I don't know. Trudeau, his name is Trudeau, right? Fucking garbage human being. If some of the shit that I've heard about the guy is true, get that son of a bitch out of office. He needs to go. He just needs to go. And it's already been, it's no secret at this point, he's been running Canada into the fucking dirt. Anyways, moving on.
Normal healthcare system that doesn't put you in debt or offer to kill you if you are in debt. Speaking of healthcare, an Italian-American Tucker Carlson fan from New York murdered a healthcare CEO. And it wasn't me. His name
is Luigi Mangione, and the only reason why he got caught was because he got found on a motel security camera flirting with the fucking clerk at the desk, which is the most Italian fucking thing I have ever heard. It is truly the most Italian thing I have ever fucking heard. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go shoot this healthcare CEO, and then I'm gonna fuck off, run over to a McDonald's reportedly, and then afterwards try to like lay low at a motel. But at the same time, I see a pretty girl at the desk, and I'm gonna try and flirt with her for a little bit. I'm just gonna have a nice little conversation. He probably wasn't even flirting, but the way he looks when he's talking to the clerk on tape makes it look like he's unintentionally being a little bit flirty, a little playful, and it's just it's the funniest fucking thing, because there are so many Italians that I have seen in real, and not just in real life, but in media, that I'm just like, this tracks. This fucking tracks. Anyways, yeah, that was a thing that happened.
Name is Luigi Mangione, and he's currently the most thirsted after man in the world.
I mean, I'm sorry I'm pausing so much, but it's just like, can you blame anyone? I mean, they treated this man like he's quite literally a terrorist. They had him walking around and shit. They had him parading around like they did something truly astonishing, right? Like they had just caught like the most deadliest serial killer imaginable. Like that's the level of charade that they gave this guy. Like, I'm surprised they didn't give this guy a fucking killer name for how much they wanted to suck this guy's proverbial reputational dick. It's the funniest fucking thing how you will literally not get any sort of shit for murdering just normal everyday people. The moment you murder a CEO of one of the most corrupt and wealthiest healthcare insurance companies, suddenly you're the most popular man in the goddamn universe. It's so fucking baffling. And what's even funnier is that these people did not learn anything from this murder. None of these insurance companies were like, oh, you know what? Maybe we should try to, I don't know, hang on, let's try to pull things back a bit. Maybe we are doing something wrong. Maybe we should rethink some of the things that we're doing to our benefactors and our providers. No. They didn't do that. No, what they did instead was, oh, we should just go into hiding. We're gonna go into hiding. We're gonna pull out of society. We're just gonna go into a proverbial bunker and never come out. We're gonna erase our records, our names, our faces from public record. Like no one's gonna know where our children go to school. Like we're just gonna go into strictly fucking hiding and put on a need to know basis. Hire a private security firm to help us with protecting our families. And it's like, yeah, that's a really great idea. Let's not fix your fucking problems that you have created for yourselves. No. Let's just go into hiding. That isn't going to backfire at all. Just no. And this is why I've been saying we live in clown world, because people like this can exist. People like Luigi Mangione can exist, and the public reception of him. By the way, is, oh man, he shot a healthcare CEO? Shit. Well, I mean, I guess he had it coming. It's just like, when you're at the point where society is just like, oh man, fucking healthcare CEO got shot, couldn't have happened to a worse person, you know you're fucked. You know you're just fucked. And I'm not even talking to any of the normal viewers who might be watching this. I'm talking about the people who are at the top, who are the celebrities, people who are at the top of the game. Where, if you're the head of a company, this is fucking concerning. You should be absolutely worried about shit like this happening not just to healthcare CEOs, but to your own families, even if you're part of companies who frankly have no real actual ramifications and effects on normal everyday people, because, you know, again, this sets a precedent. And if the precedent's been set, what's to stop people from doing the same shit to other people? Anyways, moving on. I'm sorry, that was a bit of a tangent, but it's like, I had to get that off my chest, because it's like, you people are fucking dumb. You just, instead of trying to fix the problems, you just fucking go in your little hidey holes and don't bother, and try not to emerge for God knows whatever reason. You're just stupid. These people are just stupid. That's just what it is. Case point, just flat out, you people are dumb. Ugh.
Ugh, women are so cooked, dude. Why can't they just be normal and make fan cams of the Unabomber like me? Now, I don't condone murder. That's it, I don't condone murder. Murder is bad.
Murder is bad, but we're about to see some people justify the literal shooting of a Trump supporter in about the next 5 minutes. Oh, well, actually, at the rate that I'm going, it's probably going to be like the next hour or two, but yeah, you get the point.
But honestly, I don't even know what killing a healthcare CEO even does. It's a job position. The job position will be filled again. The goal should be get rid of the job position altogether. But it's really depressing that it took this for a conversation about the absolute scam that is.
Give people universal health care. It's the real way to do this. Just have government instituted health. Well, okay. Well, there's ways that could be wrong, but at least if we had a centralized form of healthcare, things won't be nearly so bad. It just, you go to the people who represent the healthcare system, and then you bitch and complain at them about the problems with the healthcare. We don't have to go to many different fucking companies, understand their own policies and the way they handle healthcare to be able to know whether or not that their healthcare would be good for us. We'll have one centralized healthcare system to where, like, oh, the only thing we have to understand is whatever this healthcare system provides. And then we could just adapt and reconfigure and change things about it that works for everybody. If you just had one centralized healthcare system, then we won't need to have so many other McFucking healthcare systems that are just trying to get more bang out of their buck. Well, more so your buck, but you get the point. It's like, the amount of research you have to do just to understand which healthcare provider you would even want is ridiculous. And even then, they're still gonna fight you tooth and nail over every little fucking medical issue you could have. It's just not worth it. Just not worth it. Just not.
Is the American health insurance system to go mainstream. Lord knows I've been shouting about it for long enough. But you know who doesn't need healthcare anymore? Jimmy Carter. Because he's dead. He died at the ripe age of 100, and I know what you're thinking. Vaxxed? But at his funeral, we all saw this. He's Hitler! He's Hitler! He's Hitler! He's Hitler! Oh, hey, buddy. I'm sorry, I seem to recall this man scolding the black community for voting for a racist, sexist, fascist. And here he is, chatting it up with that very racist, sexist, fascist.
I mean, you have no place else to go and and figure that shit out other than just go watch her previous video. She literally had a transcript of an interview that Obama did. I believe she had a transcript of it on screen, where he's just like, well, the fact that people aren't coming out in support for Kamala You know, like, I just think you're uncomfortable about having a woman in charge. That's literally what he said. And that's literally what he said. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did say something along the lines of, like, oh, yeah, and Trump is just the worst. You know, he's a racist, he's a white supremacist, among other things. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he said that at some point either. I mean, like, these politicians are two-faced as shit, and here it is. Obama's laughing and talking all nice and friendly, getting all buddy-buddy. He's getting cozy with good old Donald J. Trump over here, and it's just like, yeah. So what the fuck was that earlier? Again, the political scene is just a fucking circus, and these are all just the monkeys. All right? If anyone should be called a monkey, it should be these people. They are the proverbial monkeys dancing to the tune of our amusement. And so all of the morons and halfwits who look at these side pieces, the little shows they put on, are just like, "Oh, I'm for the party that is not a piece of shit." It's just like, okay, but what are you actually voting for? I don't care. I don't want to vote for Republican or conservative because they're awful people. You know, like they're fucking puritanical racists and fascists, and they only care about their own stupid opinions. And it's like, that's not how that works. Have an actual argument. I'm tired of this shit, man. I'm just tired of dumb people, specifically. And look, we're also about to get into other territories about, like, people also criticizing the voter. And while I would certainly like to shit on the voter myself, because we do have some fucking dumb people, I mean, let's just be honest here. There's more dumb people than there are smart people in the world right now. And that's mainly due to our crumbling, absolutely fucking just despicable fucking education system. But it's like, you know, just another thing to add to the already pre-existing problems. But it's like, yeah, the crumbling education system, the ineffective, inefficient, and just the inability to adapt and improve education system is also a big reason why there's a lot more dumb people than there are smart people. It's truly a wonder how this country continues to exist as it does.
Gee, it's almost like they don't fucking believe it. Like, the Biden administration literally just named an aircraft after George W. Bush.
Well, no, it's all performative. Again, we're going back to the argument. It's all performative. You know, like, they only do shit because they know people are just going to eat it up and they're just going to vote for it as long as you use the usual buzzwords. People care more about buzzwords than they do about actual logic and reason because people are stupid. All right, and when people use tokenistic coined terms and buzzwords to basically get people on board on whatever they're about, it's like, I can't even right now. It's just so stupid. You know, like, if I wish I could be that simple. As a matter of fact, sometimes I wish I could be that simple. Sometimes I wish I could be so cooked that I could just look at a thing and just be like, oh yeah, that's a problem. How do we fix it? Oh, well, we vote Democrat. Great. Let's do that. You know? Why are we voting for them? Oh, because they're not the fascists. That is the Republican side. Oh, fair enough. I wish things could be that simple, but it's not. It's not. It really isn't. And it baffles my mind that people live like this. I can't live like this. I wish I could live like that, but I don't. Also, I should probably turn on captions. I didn't even think about that. No, let's not use auto-generation. Want to change? Yes. Well, where the fuck is it? Here it is. Oh, it's only auto-generated? Okay, whatever. You get my point. It's just awful. This whole thing is awful. This whole circus is awful all the way around. I wish we had a better system in place, but we don't. I mean, democracy is a pretty decent system when it works, and people actually bother to not only be educated, but also be a little bit, you know, within the know-how to know how to navigate the problems deftly and logically with a sound mind, but not very many people do that. Not very many people want to do that either. They're more comfortable with just being like, hey, you're the problem. We're not going to vote for you because you represent the problem. And it's not even that half the time. It's like they vote because it's like, oh, we believe, well, we like this side, so you're the enemy of our side, so you're technically a problem. You're technically the issue. You know, like it's just at one point it goes from being like a logical decision to a religious one. Like people treat the Democratic Party like it is a religion. Like it's heretical to even think that there is a different opinion that isn't the opinions of the Democratic progressive narrative. It truly boggles my fucking mind every time. Because it's just like, how do you get to this point? Like, how cooked do you have to be this dumb, to be this simple? I wish I could be that simple. Sometimes. I wish I could be that simple. Sometimes I wish I could just turn off my brain and just focus on other things. That has nothing to do with politics or other shit. Anyways, I'm ranting. I'm just gonna let this go for a bit.
George W. Bush. The literally Hitler from 20 years ago. In 20 years, we're going to have like a Navy fleet named after Trump. It's all fake. It's all big fake gay club and we're not in it. At the end of the day, these people would rather see the country burn to the ground than actually help the citizens in it. Literally.
Breaking now at 11, 16 people confirmed dead in the California wildfires. New fears the massive fires will only continue to grow.
Hey guys, you want to talk about something of nothing of value that was lost? I'm sorry, I had to get that one in there. I came from that shithole. I know what it's like. Nothing of value was lost. Oh my god. Sorry. I had to get that one.
There's no water coming out of the fire hydrant.
You ran out of water. You're California. You're next to the goddamn Pacific Ocean, for fuck's sake. It was getting so bad, people were using almond milk to put out the fire.
I believe the reason why they don't use river or ocean water is because of the salt. The salt contents make things rust far quicker, and it makes erosion happen more quickly to housing and foundational housing than just regular clean water or just, you know, stuff you can get from a hydrant. And so that water is specifically used primarily to put out fires while minimizing as much damage as humanly possible. And that's the idea that I understood, that I got when I was living in California. I don't know what the actual logistical reason as to why they didn't use, you know, river or ocean water. I mean, frankly, they could have just, I mean, like, if it was this bad, they could have just done that. I mean, they live on the fucking coast. But it's just, the real question, of course, is, well, what happened to all the water? Well, there's this lovely company called the Good Company, right? They make all the pomegranates and your pistachios and among other things, right? I believe that's who these people are. There's a particular family who runs that company, and apparently, according to some of the information that I've been hearing, they had prior to this fire and prior to most other shit that's been going on recently. Back in the day, they had secretly and had potentially legally or legally ambiguously purchased the right to own the proverbial water, a water supply line. I don't remember what they call it, but anyways, they basically bought like water distribution centers, and so they have legal control and rights to some water distribution centers specifically for their business, and they have bought this from the previous governor, I believe, before Newsom. And so they basically, so there was that, and the other problem is that, you know, it's California, it's Gavin Newsom. You expect these cucks, these fucking terrible fucking human beings. You expect the morons and halfwits of California, the people in charge of leading that shithole, who make it an even bigger shithole than it already is. You expect those people to run it well and correctly? On top of that, there was the fact that the mayor of which city got hit? What was it? Los Angeles. She was she noped the fuck out. She was at a completely different country at the time. She was on a vacation of sorts while the fires were going on. And she had made a promise, according to some people, she had made a promise that she would never leave California for any reason while she was mayor. And oh boy, she left California for some reason. And apparently it was because she was on vacation. Yeah, they're just liars and crooked halfwits. They're liars and charlatans. I don't know why you people even trust these people. I don't know why you vote for them, but there you go. And you know, just to top these things off, right? Just to top everything off, okay? She didn't blame herself. She didn't blame Gavin. She didn't blame the administration. She didn't blame anyone else for the problems. She didn't even blame herself for why there weren't any water in the fire hydrants, why there wasn't better preparations for these type of things. But you know, despite the fact that it's fucking California. No. Her legitimate excuse was they're mad at me because I'm black. Shut the fuck up. You stupid, incompetent piece of amphibian shit. You just didn't do your job. And you're not representing the people. And you didn't care about the people well enough to make sure that the fucking fire hydrants were filled with water. That people had access to water for which to be able to put out the fires. That's all this really is about. You're a disingenuous piece of shit. Go fuck yourself. I hope you get voted out of office, and if there is going to be people who are going to start assassinating politicians next, I hope it's going to be people like this. People who like to make it all about race and try to justify everything and try to try to skirt around criticism by using race, gender, and among other things as a legitimate excuse for why criticism exists. Go fuck yourself. Do your fucking job. Stop blaming everybody else for your own incompetence, you slimy son of a bitch. I'm done with this shit. A lot of people are done with this shit. I'm sure most of you who are probably watching this are done with that shit. Knock it the fuck off. That's all I have to say about that. I'm getting a bit heated by this, but I'm kind of doing it to myself. Anyways, we're moving on.
California moment. Thousands of people have lost their homes, lives were destroyed, but thankfully the Biden administration sent $20 billion to rebuild California. That's amazing. Just kidding, that was for Israel. But thankfully Trump has frozen foreign aid for 90 days. Except for Israel. How are the Democrats doing since losing to Trump? Are they taking a step back and reevaluating their tactics and their platform? Are they looking for a real populist candidate to put up for 2028? What is their plan?
I don't know. When you have a party of useful idiots, it makes it very, very fucking easy to not have to do anything, doesn't it? That's what the Democratic Party is. It's the party of useful idiots. They're all just useful idiots. They're armchair keyboard warrior types who think that they know how the world works, and they think they know people. They think they know what the score is, and they're just like, I'm going to regurgitate my opinions. My opinions are what matters. And everyone else who has a contrary opinion is just a racist, or a fascist, or some type of bigot. And that's all that needs to be said. And that's why I do not care for these people.
Plan. Oh god damn it. So let's get into these responses I got to my videos, shall we?
I really hope they get another candidate.
Reaction. I'm scrolling through these videos and it's like anime girl, anime girl, anime girl, anime girl, anime boy. Anime girl, anime girl, anime girl. I feel like I'm
I have watched everyone that she has just shown their reaction to a lot of her videos. I have watched all of these people's reaction videos on her content because, you know, I'm just as cooked as the average VTuber fan, and I sometimes, you know, go down the rabbit hole of what the VTubers and the VTuber communities are doing, but it's like, well, actually, no, that's actually kind of half wrong. I don't actually engage with VTuber community discourse. I just like to watch the VTubers themselves. I don't consider myself to be a legitimate VTuber. mainly because of the fact that I'm not here for I'm not here necessarily for VTuber community shit. I'm here just to game and just to have fun, and I just want people who also want to game and just want to have fun, as well as maybe talk about some stupid shit like politics. But yeah, like I mostly am just doing shit that I like to do, and because I think that people also would like to see and do that type of shit as well. And because I just think that'd be great. I just think that'd be fun. I just like to do things that are either fun or that are interesting to note or to do. That's the long and short of it. And I'm also thinking about maybe not, like stopping to play certain games and just moving on to playing some other games, given the way I'm churning out content these days. But it's, like I am trying to work out a schedule now, thankfully. And, yeah. So hopefully I can churn out content better, but I think for the most part, I think what I'm going to do going forward is that I'm going to start a game, I'm going to get pretty far within a game, and then I'll just stop playing that and move on to a new game for the channel. And if people like it, you can all, like and vote. You basically, with your likes and your view retention, to essentially determine whether or not this gets turned into a series. Because as much as I would like to continue RoboCop or, Warhammer 40K, I think that I need to be legit. I need to be logical here, and I need to move the fuck on at some point, because it's like, as much as I would like to play these games and I like to finish them, I don't do this nearly enough. I don't make videos nearly enough to warrant a full-on series unless it's short. So, yeah. But if you guys want me to play a particular game series, and want me to finish it, you feel free to vote with your view time, to vote with your likes or your dislikes. I don't fucking care. It's just, like if you find that it'd be interesting for me to play, just say the word. Anyways, move on.
Scrolling through the porn history of the average Shoe1Head fan. Oh, by the way, I will link the videos I react to in the description down below, so you can watch the full videos, the full criticism, if you want to. But if you...
Except they're not about the VTubers themselves, which is a tragedy. That's a tragedy. And also, she mentioned a VTuber boy. I wonder if it was me! No, it's probably somebody else like Kip or something. I don't know. It's most likely somebody else like Kip or whatever. I don't think I get nearly the same level of attraction as like Kip or some other male VTubers, I'm sure. I may have gotten 3,000 views on my last Shoe1Head video, but especially the ones that she's looking through the reactions of right now, or was about to, but like at least for one of them. But that'd be pretty interesting to see myself for her to react to my video. That'd be kind of cool. That'd actually be kind of cool. But it doesn't bother me really. I mean, like it'd just be interesting just to even get a mention, but I'm not expecting it. And frankly, honestly, you shouldn't expect it.
Do go to any of these people's channels, please be normal in the comments. We are all just people who have different opinions at the end of the day. If you have the urge to call them like a libtard soy boy cuck in the comments, write instead, "You are a fine, distinguished gentleman. Have a wonderful afternoon." See?
I love that response, because now if you see nothing but a string of "You are a fine, distinguished gentleman, have a wonderful afternoon," you fucked up. Or that these people just don't like you, or you have opinions that are just too erroneous or stupid to even be considered. That's a nicer way of being able to tell whether or not you're actually tracking with certain demographics and people, especially other content creators in their communities. So yeah.
It's not that hard to control our anger.
This is a 17.5-minute video from a rich white person talking about how both parties are the exact same.
What a
Boy, oh boy, that's a way to start that off.
fine, distinguished gentleman. I hope he has a wonderful afternoon.
Yeah, that's still funny every time I hear it.
Who is her main audience? It's going to be all conservative types. Every single one. Every single one.
I don't know Destiny, but only from the snippets that I'm seeing here and from some of the things that I've heard, he seems like a truly a truly cooked individual. And that's not even referring to the fact that he basically pours out his. Actually, I probably shouldn't say that because I don't know if that's. I shouldn't make any sort of definitive statements when I say anything, but it's like he has apparently a controversy at one point, or maybe it's somebody else. I could have swore it was this guy, but maybe I'm wrong. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But it's like, I remember hearing, and I do think it was Destiny in particular, who got completely ratioed for the fact that he allows his girlfriend to essentially play the game, so to speak, as liberal women tend to do, or as the cooked liberal women, the cooked progressive women tend to do. And so, the feminist types, anyways. And so, he got made fun of horrifyingly, and he started getting a lot of traction for a good while because he not only allowed for this to happen, but he was totally on board with it until it became a problem, from what I understand, and that was a while ago. I don't know what it's like now, but yeah, that's the only other thing that I know about Destiny definitively, other than whatever his political takes are. And if some of the things that I've seen here in this video and some of the things that I've heard about him is true, I mean, I don't know why anyone will watch this guy. To be fair, I wouldn't know why anyone will watch this guy. He seems like a truly lost, I'm not going to say it, but he seems like a truly lost, a truly fucked over, a truly cooked individual. So yeah.
One of these centrist people, their audiences are always conservatives, 100% of the time, every single time, all of them.
I love how he makes these definitive statements without showing any sort of receipts whatsoever. I like it when people always make definitive comments and opinions about other people and don't paraphrase that by saying that it's just my opinion, bro, or it's I know this because I've seen it, or I know this because I've experienced it, because I know what these people are like, or because I've seen the analytics. Here, I can bring them up right now. I love how people always lead with the idea that, oh yeah, I fucking know these people. They're terrible people for X and Y reasons. Can you give us a good estimation? Can you show us the evidence? Can you show us the receipts? No. Shut the fuck up then. Shut the fuck up then. Unless you're talking about personal experience with some of the talking points you are making. Shut the fuck up. That's why I don't make any definitive statements unless I'm talking about personal experience.
Type people. Okay, alright. Destiny has said that Kamala Harris is to the left of him on economics. Kamala Harris. That technically puts Destiny to the right of me on econ. Destiny has opinions that fall to the left and right of where I'm standing. I have opinions that fall to the left and right of where Destiny is standing. So, who is the centrist here? Or is centrism when you're a YouTuber who makes fun of both sides? And yeah, sure, sorry lefties and liberals and Democrats in my audience, you don't exist. You're all Republicans now. Take your complimentary Trump hat and liberal tears mug. Also,
I don't mind. I'll take them. I'll take them. I'll wear them proudly in my house. Because I don't give a shit. And honestly, as long as to be fair, as long as it doesn't mean that I get associated with these fucking cooked out of their minds, brainlets, these absolute disgraces of humanity, I am totally down for it. I'll wear the Trump hat. I'll have the MAGA cups of liberal tears. I'll have all the things because I do not like these people. I do not care for these people. And I don't want to be associated with these people. Other people like me who are just caught in the crossfire, who don't actually subscribe to the bullshit narratives that these people espouse, good on you. Good for you for trying to separate yourselves from that shit. But if you do, but let's just be honest here. If your first attempt to make conversation, especially with people you've never even met before, is, oh, I voted libertarian, or I voted liberal, I'm a liberal, or anything of that nature, you can understand why people would immediately hold you with immediate trepidation and skepticism. It's utterly fucked out here. No, not then. That's also just to go to say that you probably shouldn't come out swaining about your political opinions ever, if hardly. Like, I think that goes without saying, but I feel like I need to make a PSA on this. But don't ever come out swinging about your political hot takes and opinions. No one cares. No one actually cares. You know, talk about something that you actually give a shit about, that actually makes you happy, that makes you stand out, that's actually fun or interesting. Don't talk about stupid shit like your political hot takes, because nobody cares about your political hot takes. It's just a recipe for disaster. Just don't. All right? Speaking as one common sense human being to another, you know, don't come out swinging with your political hot takes. No one actually cares about. No one cares about them. No one wants to hear them. And unless they broach the topic themselves, or unless, you know, the conversation just happens to go that way, you know, don't fucking talk about it. Nobody wants to hear them unless they want to be convinced otherwise. And also, don't fight a losing battle you know is a losing battle. Just straight up, don't fight a battle you know you're not going to win. Because once people turn off their brains and they just start acting like women and they just behave indignantly about the conversation, just disassociate. Completely pull yourself away from the conversation. Just remove yourself from the dialogue entirely. There's no point. There's just no point. You know, you got to do the same. You got to do the same thing when your girlfriend is pissed off. All right, you just got to pull yourself out of the situation. You know, and just stop talking. Just stop saying shit. Just walk the fuck off. You'll be saving yourself the headache. And if they keep badgering you about it, if they keep trying to bother you about it, then you just gotta be like, sure. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that sucks. Oh, I feel bad about that. Yeah, you're right. I should have done that. Gets them every fucking time. I have done that to my relatives before. I've done that to a few nieces before. It's certainly something to behold. They get so pissed off. It's amazing. And you know you win. And by the way, if you ever want to know if you've won the battle with a woman, like, you will never win any battle truly, but you can certainly get some decent jabs in there when you have them so emotional that they're basically just floundering like a fish, and they're more pissed off as a result of the fact that you gave them such a zinger that they can't possibly recuperate from it, and so they're just floundering in the conversation, and then you just choose to walk away. At that precise moment, it's like, what's the best way to, what's it like? I think Bill Burr said it better himself, actually. You know, it's like, it's the champagne of victory, so to speak. Not necessarily the part where he mentions about jerking off is the champagne of victory, but it's, you know, because, you know, you're not going to get any sex, obviously, because, you know, she's going to be too pissed off about it. It's more so just like, the champagne of victory is the ability to so carefully and so deftly, just so surgically plant that contrary arguments, that counterpoint, and then be able to immediately disassociate from the conversation so cleanly and effortlessly that she is far more pissed off as a result, that it truly is the champagne of victory. Anyways. Now I'm talking about other shit. Moving on.
As a left-wing YouTuber, shouldn't having right-wingers in your audience kind of, like, be the goal? Who are you making content for if not? Do you just want to preach to a choir? If you want to watch someone who agrees with you 100%, just talk to a fucking mirror. I don't understand this criticism. I like that there are people with diverse opinions in my audience. It's so freeing. I'm not audience captured. I could say I want to bring back Ronald Reagan from the dead so I can kill him with my bare hands, and the right-wingers in my audience would just be like, haha, she's so funny. It's nice we can listen to alternative viewpoints. I can fix her. Frankly, I know for a fact a lot of left-wing channels would kill for the audience demographic I have. Are you kidding me? How do we reach young men on the right? How do we get young men to listen to us?
Stop giving a shit. That's the first step. Stop giving a shit. If you stopped giving a shit, you would find it very easy. All right, stop giving a shit. Approach every conversation with analysis And you will find that it's so much easier to cultivate a completely left and right centered audience. It's not even funny. The only reason why people even watch her content, the only reason why I watch her content and why people react to her content is because she has some actual fucking points that not all of it is based off of actual data, but, a lot of it comes from a place of actual feasible evidence. It's like, it's the simplest fucking thing. You just have to approach everything with an analytical mind. You have to be reasonable. You have to be able to reason and to be able to, point to a specific thing and pull it as like your evidence, your ammunition, so to speak, and load that into a fucking chamber and then just shoot it at the proverbial viewership that you will have, and you will find that a lot of people are going to take those bullets. They're going to take them. They're going to take them because they're going to realize, damn, that's actually a good point. It's the Danganronpa style of like, oh, you have a point? Here is my counterpoint in the form of a gun. Take this fucking reason bullet and shove it up your ass. It's funny how Danganronpa actually does debates. It's so gamified, but it's so interesting because it's all emblematic of how actual debates kind of take place, sort of, but it's so ridiculously cartoonish that in how it's presented, that it's truly interesting. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked again. Moving on.
Skill issue.
It's hard for me to know, bro. I honestly can't tell with a lot of these people. I wish I could just get them in a room and get them like shit-faced, and we could just like have a conversation where it's like, do you understand, like, that like all your fans are conservative, right?
Okay, I know what she was about to say here, but to be fair, like, I know this is probably I'm playing devil's advocate here, so please take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But to be fair to Destiny here, outside of this context, what he's probably trying to say here is what he's probably saying here is that he doesn't want to get people shit-faced and then starts grilling them about their political opinions. What he's probably saying is that he wants to get everybody in a room, chug a few pints down, and just have a conversation. See what the actual opinions are of these individuals, because that would be truly fascinating to someone like Destiny. And if that isn't the case, if that isn't what he's actually saying here, he is highly sus for this comment. He is highly sus for this comment. Because you could easily take that as him basically saying, and you could twist this and basically say that what he's actually saying is that he wants to get people's inhibitions down so he can get them to agree to or say yes to things that are erroneous as shit. Imagine if he did that to a woman. That's a dangerous territory that I don't think anyone, including Destiny, wants to be on the other end of. I do not want to be on the other end of that. I have a persecution complex, for fuck's sake. I don't want to be on the other end of any of this type of shit. If I came out swinging and I said some weird shit like this, I would be immediately like, hang on, actually, what I'm trying to say actually is this, because like, if I said something this bad unintentionally, I would be losing my fucking mind. Because it's like, that's not what I actually mean, guys. What I'm actually trying to say is that what I really wanted to say is that I want to, I want to hang out with these guys, get all of us in a room together, we all chug down a few pints, just let the conversation fly, shoot the shit, see what everyone's opinions are, where everyone stands, actually, just see where that goes, I'm not trying to imply anything when I say this. Like, I would be completely losing my fucking mind if I ever said something like this. I don't know. Again, I also hate the definitive language. I hate that shit so much. Destiny talks with such an affirmed, astute sort of, like, examination of a particular situation that when he's wrong, it feels so boneheaded. If I ever made a statement that is not true, but I rant and rave like it is, I would feel so bad about it because it's like, oh shit, I'm actually wrong. Fuck. I would be losing my mind. He's out here just he's just throwing shade no matter the risk. It's like, how the fuck do you not care about this? I would be losing my fucking mind. Anyways, moving on.
Right. You know that like everything you do is conservative, right? Can you tell that? Are you aware of that?
Okay, first of all, getting drunk with Destiny and having him all up in my face like, you know you're a conservative, right? You know your audience is conservative, right? Sounds like a fucking nightmare. I think I would throw up and cry. This is all especially funny coming from someone like him, who's also constantly called a centrist and a right-winger and a Nazi because he has opinions that fall outside
Really could have fooled me. I thought he was just as blue-pilled as the rest of them.
of the left-wing internet bubble. Like, I have seen people say these exact criticisms of Destiny, that his audience is
Although, again, to also be fair, you know, all the leftists fall under the same type of mental state and problem that everyone else does, including the leftists themselves, which is that either you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right? Again, no better example of this, Ellen DeGeneres. Industry darling, leftist progressive darling, until just one fucking terrible nightmare happens. You know, just one bad day and suddenly everything changes. It all comes back to the joke.
is full of incels and right-wingers. You know, Destiny, at the end of the day, we're not so different, you and I.
People like Tim Pool, I know,
Oof.
are intentionally lying, 100%. But for somebody like this, like all of the other centristy
Wait, hold on. I just caught that. Tim Pool? Tim Pool? You mean the former journalist who now runs a podcast? Tim Pool. We're talking about the same Tim Pool, right? The same Tim Pool who got Donald Trump on his show. Tim Pool who actually gets progressives and other people to come on his show so we can grill them to ask questions. We're talking about that same Tim Pool. What did he fucking say?
people like Tim Pool, I know, are intentionally lying, 100%. But for somebody like this, like all of the
Intentionally lying about what, Destiny? Make some fucking sense. Lying about what? What is it? What is he lying about? Do I need to go back further?
So different, you and I.
people like Tim Pool, I know, are intentionally lying, 100%. But for somebody like this, like all of the other centristy types that get
About what? What? Put a fucking name on it. Show me the receipts. What is he lying about? What are you saying?
get swept up in the middle that end up just being like mass conservative propagandists, I'm not sure.
What? I'm sorry. Mass conservative propaganda? I am so tired of defending myself like this, though. Frankly, I've seen what makes someone a progressive to these people, so I don't really mind when they call me conservative. I'll take it, Destiny. Conservative, centrist, whatever. Someone did die. One of the bullets hit Corey Comparator as he was protecting his family. It's one thing to make fun of a failed assassination attempt, even a successful assassination attempt on a politician. If we can't mock or criticize the people in power, there is an issue. But it's another thing to mock a innocent Trump supporter that died. The guy didn't have any power. He wasn't a politician. He was just a dude. I don't like
He wasn't just a dude. He was a guy that was posting a ton of inflammatory shit on his social media, who was at a rally for one of the most inflammatory candidates of all time. But
Okay, so before we get into digesting this fucking thing, I just want to put this out here and right now. All right, I want to put this out right here, right now. All right, we can make fun about people's decisions all day if we want. All right, we can criticize them, we can take them apart, and we can literally dissect it as much as humanly possible, right? We all have different opinions. We all have potentially inflammatory, incorrect, or even erroneous opinions. I'm not impervious to that shit, but for fuck's sake, you know, like if your approach and conversational point is I'm gonna make fun of a dead person because he's a part of a political aisle that I don't agree with, you're a piece of shit. You are just straight up dog shit. You are a garbage human being who deserves nothing but the absolute worst. You are a fucking terrible person. All right? We can make fun of people all day. We can shoot the shit at other people's feet. We can throw shade. We can throw the proverbial shit at everyone across the aisle all fucking day. But the moment your argument becomes, oh, I don't care that this person died, the Trump supporter died, fucking the fascist died, nothing of value was lost. It's like, you are talking about a person's life. You are talking about a guy who had a family. You are talking about someone who has people who probably loved him, who cared about him. You're talking about people who probably are now far less now because he is gone than he was when he was alive. We're talking about people, all right, whose lives are going to have irreversible ramifications because his existence is now gone. This man had a goddamn child. This man had a fucking child.
Innocent Trump supporter that died. The guy didn't have any power. He wasn't a politician. He was just a dude. I don't like
He wasn't just a...
mock a Corey comparator as he was protecting his family. It's one thing to make fun.
I'm pretty sure this guy had a son anyways. But anyways, you get the point. You know, like, when your argument is that this guy, it's totally fine for some people to die because they have different opinions that I don't agree with. That's where I start to lose all the respect for you. When your argument is, oh, I don't care about this one person because he has an opinion different from my own, that's just absolute brainlet. That is just terrible fucking hot take. That is absolute garbage human being levels of arguing, and I do not want any of that shit. You come at me with that shit, I will fucking berate you for that shit all fucking day. I will make you look like a fucking pariah by the end of it. I'm not someone who's confrontational by nature, but if you said some shit like this in my presence, I would not only call you out for it, I would fucking tear you apart for saying something like that. That is god-awful. That is some dog shit logic. Truly irreprehensible behavior. I do not accept this at all. We are playing with people's lives here. Your argument is, oh, person died, nothing of value was lost. Bitch, you need to reevaluate your fucking values. You need to really seriously contemplate reevaluate your whole life right now. Your idea of what is considered not a terrible human being, that to the point to where, like, they're as low as, like, garbage, to where, like, they could just be killed off, and your reaction to it is just like, oh, well, it's like taking out the trash, nothing of value was lost. That's a problem. That is an actual problem. And you need some fucking help. Need some serious fucking help. And this is why I don't like these people. I don't like these people because they legitimately say shit like this, and it pisses me off to the upteenth degree. And I get so fed up with this kind of to this kind of conversation and commentary, where it's just like, I don't care what your opinions are anymore. I'm disassociating from you entirely because I don't like the fact, I hate the fact that your entire reason for disagreeing with this person, or why you hate this person so much so to the point to where, like, you don't care this person just died, is simply but someone you don't know, by the way, is just simply because he just happens to be on a different political spectrum than yourself, is disgusting. You are a disgusting human being. I do not want to know your political opinions at that point. I don't want to know anything about you. I don't want nothing to do with you at that point. Because if you're that cooked to where you have to disrespect the dead, I have no respect for you. None. And neither should anyone else. If you're so cooked, if you're that low on the ethical and moral scale that you can justify the death of a person, that you can actually sit there and try to go through the process of justifying murder, you are disgusting. And I want nothing to do with you. I don't even care what your reason or opinions are anymore. You are a terrible human being. And you need to go fuck off. That is my 2 cents on that. That is my 2 cents on that. agree or disagree, I have no respect for people like this. Go fuck yourself.
Of a failed assassination attempt, even a successful assassination attempt on a politician. If we can't mock or criticize the people in power, there is an issue. But it's another thing to mock a innocent Trump supporter that died. The guy didn't have any power. He wasn't a politician. He was just a dude. I don't like...
He wasn't just a dude. He was a guy that was posting a ton of inflammatory shit on his social media, who was at a rally for one of the most inflammatory candidates of all time, but...
A dude wasn't just a dude and deserved to die because he posted inflammatory shit online? My brother in Christ, you do that. I do that. We all do that. All right, I'm done with this one. I'm done. I don't know what I expected. I honestly expected better. I did not expect this. Hopefully the next person is more sane. So
No.
Let's go. Let's go.
This is called America is in Shambles. I'm excited.
He's one of these people, by the way. This guy is also one of these people. And I'm actually tempted to skip. I'm actually tempted to skip this particular segment. But we'll let it run. We'll let it run. I'm going to let it run. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just going to let it run.
Excited to see what this is.
Build Back Better, Agenda 47. Let me introduce you to the Shoe New Deal. Bring back the red Pizza Hut cups.
What is this video? Is this just, are we just going to be like, America's in shambles and we're just going to, haha, I'm a shit poster, I don't care because nothing affects me. Right, like it's just like disaffected memes or something? This is what we're doing?
I love how he's so confused about the concept of an opening skit. I don't understand. Where's the 500 paragraphs of text? I've been very busy, as some of you know now, and as some of you guessed. I have recently had a baby, and as it turns out,
Whoa!
Let's fucking go.
that takes up a lot of your time. And it.
Ugh.
Wait, why did he go ugh? Why did he go ugh? Nearly 40-ass-year-old man. Come on, Jake. Tick-tock. Time to settle down and have some children. Those sperms are drying up.
Actually, no, let's not. I like it better when we can tell who the idiots are, and we can easily weed them out of the gene pool. Let's not do that, actually. That might be also a hot take, but I prefer this. I mean, if I was as cooked as this individual, I would absolutely be down for myself. I would just take myself out of the equation entirely. Just like, if I'm that to the point to where, like, I can logically say that I am that cooked that we're just like, I don't care if someone's dead, or someone died. It's like, that's just for stupid reasons. That is, I mean, I might as well just take myself out of the gene pool. It's just awful. Fuck these people.
Oh yeah. He's winning. I shit.
Oh yeah, he's winning. Cope?
Bullet just grazed his ear because he turned at the last second to look at some immigration chart. Being racist literally saved his life. There's a lesson in that.
There's a lesson in being racist. Cool, dude. Like, she lampshades that's just a joke. Wink, wink. And then, like, the dumbass f***ing Zoomer Coomer that's in her comments down here does not think she's joking. Thinks she's dog whistling, which she is, and is...
How much you want to bet that he's a Zoomer Coomer himself, so he has the authority to speak on the subject? How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet?
Totally like, yeah, I love being racist. Being racist is good and makes me survive bullets or some shit now.
Oh no, I'm going to influence vulnerable Zoomers into believing racism makes them bulletproof. What are you saying, bro? The dog whistles! The dog whistles! Call a fucking joke. There's no dog whistle. There's no mask. It's a joke. It's a joke about racism, yes! Somehow knew that Roof would be unguarded, laid down and aimed a rifle at the former president without being noticed. This was insane incompetence. Or they let it happen.
Oh my god, and now she's doing conspiracy theories? She watches Fox News now all the time. You could see it.
I'm leaning more towards the former because if you look...
Again, pay attention also. No receipts. They have no actual reason as to why they think this way that they give. They're just out here spewing shit, and they just play it off like it's fact. If I will say things, and I will always say that either from a lens of personal experience or from shit that I've seen, right? I would never suggest that I am right unless I genuinely think that I am and I can find evidence to prove that. If I definitively ever say anything that it can be true or question or can be seen as like affirmatively as a thing that happens that is actually done, that is truthful, that it exists, it is real, I would pull up evidence for it, or I would say it as a matter of fact because it just simply is, right? Because it's just common sense that it is a thing, you know, just like the fact that male genitalia exists and female genitalia exists. That's real. That's a thing that exists. All these other genders don't fucking know about that shit. It's about as nebulous as the conversation itself. But you know what? I'm not gonna knock anyone for thinking about it. I'm not gonna knock anyone for flirting with the idea. I'm not gonna fucking berate people for wanting to believe that there might be multiple different genders, despite the fact that gender is, you know, it's a quandary of like, do you have one body type or another body type? But that's the question. These are the questions that are being asked, and who am I to deter people from wanting to be the special snowflakes that they are? As fucking, you know, like as argumentative as that sounded, I'm not gonna sit here and knock you for it. I'm going to just acknowledge the fact that you have this opinion, and I'm just gonna move on. I'm just gonna let you have that opinion. I'm not gonna question your entire life or your life's choices just because your opinion is different from mine. Who knows? Maybe there are different forms of ways of thinking and being that we just do not understand because our brain does not have the capacity to know these things. Just like we don't see things in different dimensions. We only see things from 3 dimensions or 2 dimensions. We don't see anything else from other dimensions. Who knows? Maybe there's a higher learning or understanding or a way of thinking or looking at things, perhaps even being, that we just don't understand simply because we lack this ability to perceive the universe. Who knows? Maybe I'm being a hippie at the moment, but it's just, I'm not going to knock people's opinions, all right? Case in point, just flat out. I know I said I was just going to let this run, but you know how that goes. But yeah. It's just the way things are, man. It's just the way things are. It's just how it is. You know, like, I have my opinions, you have your opinions. I don't even remember the points of this. Oh, that's right. You know, cite your sources. If you're going to make any definitive statements about anything as a content creator, as a fucking influencer, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, you make sure you have the fucking receipts, my guy. And don't just be out here spreading stupid shit. These people will rightfully mock people for misinformation, but when they are put to the fucking grinding stone, they have nothing to show for it. I will literally crucify people if they say definitive shit like this and they have nothing to show for it. Okay? And just, if they could just pull up anything, right? They could just pull up anything, right? If I was in a debate with someone, they could just pull up any statistic that says it has these things, and I would probably agree that, oh, well, at least you have a source, right? At least you have a fucking source. And I just roll with it because, granted, I'm not a number cruncher. I'm not someone who understands numbers. I will probably understand maybe 30, 20% of it even, of whatever the fuck they have as evidence to this idea, to this fact. But it's like, you know, at least they bothered to actually do some research and cite their fucking sources, right? And then it's just you people in the comments, you people watching the thing, right? You can determine whether or not this is fact, whether this has been handled logically, whether this is a sound argument and the evidence to support it is stable enough for the argument to exist. But, so, for the most part, if you're out here throwing these fucking hands and you have no reason to be throwing them, sit the fuck back down before you check yourself. Seriously, I'm tired of people like this.
Look at our bridges and airplanes. America is in shambles.
First of all, why the fuck would I watch Fox News? Tucker Carlson isn't on there anymore. Also, I love how he paused before I finished my sentence. Said a thing he thought epically owned me, then unpaused and I continued and said the opposite of what he thought I would say. His fanfiction of me that believes in Fox News conspiracies turned out not to be real.
They all live
Man
in
is out
fan fiction.
fighting ghosts. He's fighting his schizophrenic thoughts. He took too much cough syrup and I appeared in the corner of his room talking about Fox News.
People were laughing
MGS2
about how
world.
some of the cops protecting Trump were women, and like, come on now, that's sexist. They were making these awful memes like this.
It's pretty funny though.
And then you just do the sexist joke. You go, that's sexist, but I don't care. You know what you're doing, dude.
Yes, I do know what I am doing. I am making jokes. I am making jokes about sexism and racism. Yes. Again, no mask, no dog whistles. I am blatantly just saying these things. White Women for Harris meeting raised millions, broke Zoom.
Yep.
Oh, but when I want to have a whites-only meeting, I'm called a racist.
Wow, cool, dude. That's a really sick fucking KKK joke you have there.
This guy isn't even debunking anything. He's just like, you made a joke. Okay? And? You are in the wrong neighborhood. That doesn't work here. We have fun here, sir.
Boyfriend writes your scripts, that joke confirms it? Dude, it's so bad.
A woman making a joke? I bet her boyfriend wrote that. Wow! Sexist much? Dog whistle? Also, kind of a random tangent, but like, I've gotten this actually unironically in like innocent ways. Like, who writes your stuff? Give props to your editor. I write my own stuff. I edit my own stuff. I've been doing it for 10 years. I still use iMovie to edit. I do have an assistant who helps me get sponsorships and edits the sponsor segment.
I used iMovie. I use iMovie to edit some of my other videos when I fucked up recording them. I am not a master at that. I didn't even know iMovie was a thing you could use legitimately to edit things, but, you know, maybe I'll consider delving more into it. I've been trying to figure out what would be a good editing software to do editing with, but it's the reason why I haven't done it is just because I just don't know where to start. I don't know where to look. I've been more focused on learning the code and taking courses on that, dealing with life, dealing with, you know, just the usual bullshit, than and recording a video or two a week at this point than really anything else. So, yeah.
Hire anyone to do anything. It would be to be the person in front of the camera. That is my least favorite part. I love writing, I love editing. I hate this. Maybe I'll just pull a Daily Wire one day and do a little switcheroo and replace myself with someone else. I'll just tell Moist Critical to shave his beard. None of you will know the difference. Basically, if I could be a VTuber, I would. And I'd give myself
You want to know the saddest part is that I think they have similar enough facial features to where I think that they could get away with this. You just put like a bit more of a darker skin tone on Moist Critical on Charlie, you know, to where he's not so light. He might actually come as a close second for being a nice Shugo impersonator. He could even probably be her body double. I can actually see it. I haven't seen him fully shaved, but I feel like it could work. It could work. Depending on what's underneath the beard, I think it could work.
pink hair and big anime titties.
Let's fucking go. Yeah, pink hair, pink anime. I almost just said something stupid. Pink hair, big anime titties. Yeah, let's fucking go. No, seriously though, I would love to see a reaction video of her just reacting to VTubers. That'd be interesting. Again, don't really consider myself a VTuber. At least your archetypical VTuber. But, you know, like, if she ends up reacting to them and I somehow make it into the skit, my brother in Christ, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I got nothing else to say about that. I don't know how I would feel if I ever got caught in a shoe video. I'm probably just gonna lose my mind.
Alright, moving on.
One of the bullets hit Corey Comparator as he was protecting his family. But there were people, like, mocking this, which is insane to me. Like, it's one thing to make fun.
Well, he was a racist, so he caught a bullet for no fucking reason at a Trump rally, right? It's like being upset the Nazi got hit at a Nazi rally, right?
Oh my god, they're all justifying it! A innocent Trump supporter that died.
He's not innocent, actually. He went to a Trump rally, supported Donald Trump publicly.
Am I going insane?
No, you're not. And also, just to hammer on this point a little bit further, I've tested this. I have tested this. All the cooked leftist individuals that I know are terrible, they do not pass this litmus test. You go up to them and you ask them, hey, or you say to them, hey, isn't it this guy almost got assassinated? And then you listen to their opinions, and if their immediate response to that is like, damn it, they almost got him. Or, oh, nothing was of value was lost. Oh, poor who, boo hoo. Oh, he fucking Trump supporter got shot. If they start acting like that, that is your litmus test. That is the litmus test that determines for you. And I have tested this. I have proven this fact. People who will literally mock the dead are the type of people who probably shouldn't be allowed to vote. They are the type of people who probably shouldn't even be allowed to make their own decisions. They are the type of people who probably should not be allowed to make any type of moral or ethically sound decisions. They are not morally and ethically sound individuals, and that is proven by the fact that they can literally look at a person dying, and their immediate reaction to it is like, oh, boo-hoo, nothing of value was lost. Go fuck yourself. I have proven this. I have proven this myself. I have done the litmus test. I have succeeded in being able to immediately determine whether or not someone's a piece of shit just by asking this simple question, just bringing up a topic of like, oh, this guy got murdered. How do you feel about that? Oh, it was fucking... It's awful. How could this have happened? Oh my god, you're a sane person. Thank fucking Christ. You know, like, it's the simple and easiest litmus test, and they're so quick. They are so quick to want to throw shade. It's not even funny. You want to know what someone's real opinions are? You want to know how mentally deranged or mentally unsound someone is? You just ask them how they feel about a Trump supporter or some type of conservative getting shot or murdered, and just listen to their immediate response. That's the easiest litmus test you could possibly use, and it works 90% of the time, 100% of the time, almost. I would say 90%. It has helped me. It has helped me dodge many individuals that I could immediately tell you, and I could attest to you, that the way they describe how just uncaringly they feel about certain people getting murdered is, I mean, you will be thanking yourself for not having asked this even just like a second sooner, so you could just immediately just divorce yourself, just disassociate from them entirely, just completely fuck off. It is truly a wonder. Anyways, I'm moving on.
I'm crashing out, bro. I'm crashing out.
If you were a better person, you wouldn't be at a Trump rally. You feel me? So, yeah.
If you were a better
person, you wouldn't be saying stupid shit like this on the internet. Alright, just flat out. Just case in point. If you were a better person, you would not be sitting here saying that nothing valuable was lost because someone got murdered at a Trump rally. A Trump supporter got murdered. Nothing of value was lost. Alright, I like to see you say the same thing when someone has a gun to your face and does the exact same shit, my guy. I would love to see that conversation. Oh, fucking a left-wing progressive got shot in the face. A feminist champion, a beta male soy boy cuck got shot in the face. Nothing of value was lost. Doesn't sound so good when the shoe's on the other foot, does it, you piece of fucking shit? I'm trying to let this go, but it's like, I'm so pissed off.
Person like me, a person who thinks people who disagree with me should be shot and killed, then this wouldn't have happened. Unreal! Okay, on to the last response to this video. Let's hope this guy is a little better.
Welcome to America is in Shambles by Shuan Head. So Shuan Head is a person that exists. If you don't know who Shuan Head is, she basically...
I love that statement every time I hear it.
I literally call myself a left-wing What? Also, I didn't know they made a Vosh 2. Who is this guy? Alec Gunter, Shoe-on-Head's brain-dead election analysis.
She used to be buddies with some of the left-leaning people, used to be in favor of Bernie Sanders, but kind of went full populist.
Bernie is a populist, so this makes no sense. Oh, she used to like Bernie, but now she's more of a populist. What? Are we just equating populism with right-wing now? Is that what's going on here?
Basically just posturing for her incel followers. Right, her alt-right incel followers.
The shoe simps, or as I like to call them, the SS.
And making them feel smart because she looks at both sides, right? She's a centrist.
First of all, I don't make my audience feel smart. My audience is fucking retarded. They know this. Second of all, why wouldn't you look at both sides?
Yeah,
Why
I am.
shouldn't you be criticizing your side, too? Unless you're like a total ideologically
Not
cut
clinically
back.
retarded, but I feel retarded.
You're not that. Right, Alec? Right?
Here's Shoe on Head. America is in shambles.
My fellow Americans, I regret to inform you that it is that time again. Election time.
Uh-oh.
Every 4 years, we have to deal with this. Are you voting for the red files or the blue files? The red drone strikes or the
Okay, right off the bat, the red is way worse. See, she's like immediately playing the centrist angle, and there's
This.
no comparison between the two.
Oh my god, do they all not know what a bit is? I'm doing both sides bad because I'm a candidate running against Kamala and Trump. Do they not know what a skit is? A drone strike.
Apparently not.
Palestinians or dead Palestinians? We're tired of it. They should just pick one
Okay, well, the dead Palestinians thing was pretty true. I'll give her that.
sexist joke, racist joke, ableist joke. Palestine.
There's just no way Trump is losing. It would take something like, I don't know, Trump getting shot in the head at a rally in Pennsylvania.
Oh god, we're coming up to the Trump rally part. Please be normal about this.
One thing to make fun of a failed assassination attempt, even a successful assassination attempt on a politician. If we can't mock or criticize the people in power, there is an issue. But it's another thing to mock a innocent Trump supporter that died.
Please give me some hope for left-wing YouTube, please.
The Trump supporter that died, he was most likely a fascist, and I mean, he was at a Trump rally, man. What do you expect?
You know, I'll give him credit for one thing. He said most likely, so he's not being definitive about it. He's saying he's most likely a fascist. That's a step above being a fucking an actual piece of shit. That's a little. I mean, he's still a piece of shit, but at least he's not the worst kind of piece of shit. Where he's like, "Oh, I say everything definitively. Do not cite my sources. No evidence to the opinion I am to the statement I am asserting. No. I think he is a fascist. He is most likely a fascist. So I don't feel bad about this. I also hate the fucking fact that he uses the same headphones that I do. I mean, it's actually a better version of the same brand that he's using, but I have a similar pair of headphones, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Like, he probably wanted trans people to die.
Probably. He probably had these opinions, so it's okay for him to die. Even if he did, which you don't know, but even if he did, that doesn't mean he should be fucking killed. He's just a fucking guy. He's a guy who can even change his opinions one day. Who knows? I know for a fact a shit ton of people in these people's audiences used to be Trump supporters, used to be transphobic or whatever. Every single fucking day I log on and I see, I watched Ben Shapiro and was a Trump supporter, but now I watch ContraPoints and I'm a good person. So back when you were a Trump supporter, these people think it's okay if you got shot. Convenient for them that they were born morally lucky and they came out of the womb as leftists. I'm actually going insane. I'm becoming the Joker. I thought at least one of them would have a normal take on this. But no. Behold! This is my son.
That's asking a lot from the liberal left. That's asking a lot of these fucking leftist people. Again, libertarian speaking, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure liberals and libertarians get confused pretty often, but liberals are not the same. Liberals and libertarians aren't really the same thing. They're two different things. I don't know what is a definition of a liberal? You know, and I'll look that up after this. But it's like libertarians are different. They're individualistic. They're fundamentally individualistic. I do not want the state or other people dictating my life and how I should live my life. Period. That's my 2 cents on that. And the more we have government dictating policy, well, I mean, they already do. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. But the more we have the government, dictating how everything gets run in the country, putting too many fingers into too many different pies. Like the moment we have government, infiltrating everything, that's when everything dies, right? I mean, like, normally, okay, to pull a term coined by Maxor, when Congress does something, it usually hurts you. It usually hurts you. If they do something. And when they do something, it usually hurts you. You don't want the government getting involved in anything. Let's just be real. Let's be honest about this. You would rather have systems in place for people to be able to organize and make it work themselves, to make that thing function on its own. You don't want the government coming in and being like, "Hey, we want to help you fix this," and they just go and fuck it up even worse. You don't want that to happen. It never ends well. It just doesn't. It never does.
Circus. These are my monkeys.
I think, okay, so let's check the
monkeys,
comments.
let's go.
I just want to see. Here's her audience, okay?
Oh no, he's checking comments. Oh no, he's checking comments. No, 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 no.
Having a baby and retiring, she has become a trad wife. The only reason America isn't...
I'm glad I'm not the only one who makes monkey comments. I'm really glad I'm not the only one who makes monkey comments. Because I was kind of panicking when I called some random TikToker a monkey a little bit, because I was like, wait, hold on, that could be taken a different way. I need to pull back a little bit. But no, I'm glad I'm not the only one who makes this kind of fucking, like, primitive monkey joke.
in shambles is because Shua hasn't uploaded a Hell World in 2 years. Kamala, don't come Trump, I'm gonna come America. If there's any reason to vote for Kamala, it's just to make Hillary extremely mad is probably the best campaign slogan yet. Okay, they all just seem like memers.
Whew. Okay, good. Diagnosis memers.
I don't know. I think that Shua is just kind of a memer. I don't think she's a bad person.
Oh good, YouTuber Alec Gunter doesn't think I'm a bad person. I must postpone my suicide at once. Okay, this next video people are responding to is the one I made after the election called The Downfall of the Democrats. Let's see what people had to say about this one. Okay, this guy is called Hutch. This fucking title. Shoe on Head takes an election victory lap? What video did this dude watch? The Shoe on Head from Earth 2? Hat on foot?
Actually project that Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
Do you really think that the Democratic Party is fighting for you? The overwhelming answer is...
I don't know anything about this guy, by the way, but I have heard from watching another reaction that he was probably from Achievement Hunter at one point. He's apparently like a guy who's in gaming circles at one point or another. I think. I don't know. I probably am remembering that wrong, but if that is indeed the case, you know, like, it's kind of an interesting sight to see that he's doing political commentary. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, to each their own, I guess.
No.
A lot of people from Rooster Teeth got annexed.
I am so frustrated with this argument because policy can only get you so far. Like, good policy is good, and we should do good policy. For sure.
That's quite the argument he's making. In all seriousness, though, I mean, he's kind of approaching it the same way that I would, where I'm over-analyzing my words carefully, and I'm making statements that don't actually make sense. I tend to do that sometimes. I sometimes open up like this, but even I am usually try to go further into explaining something once I get into it, because, like, you know, when saying that we need good policy is good, that's not a, I mean, for sure, my guy. Would you like to explain? For sure. Would you like to explain? I try not to do this, but I do the same thing sometimes. It just happens.
I don't think we should adopt Republican policies.
Wait, what argument? You just watched a montage of Trump winning. Where did I say adopt Republican policies? I haven't even said anything in this video yet. I haven't even appeared on screen. Who are these people responding to? There she goes, hat on foot, making videos talking about adopting Republican policies.
I think we should pursue progressive policies. I think we should pursue policies that help working class people across this country, whatever the term working class means now, because it's so nebulous at this point.
I like that the term working class is now nebulous. Now that they're losing the working class.
How was it nebulous?
Working class. What does that even mean? Is it too late for the Democratic
They
Party?
just don't want to be associated with people who voted Republican.
Learn from this.
To be clear, in 2016, it was the same discourse. Is this the end of the Democratic Party? Dems in disarray. Are they ever going to recover from this? It's the same discourse every single time.
Okay, but Kamala did historically bad. She did not flip a single county. A Republican won the popular vote. A Republican. Do you know how rare that is? And all the data shows young people, black people, Latinos, women moving more right. Now, could this be a Trump-only thing? Sure. And as I said in my video, there could be a pendulum swing and we'll get like another Obama after Trump, or the Democrats wake up and actually run a good populist candidate. I don't rule this out, but to pretend this wasn't a particularly bad loss is just straight up delusional. From blaming the American people to blaming Joe Rogan, the Democrats and the media are having a hard time coping with their loss, and
this logic that you can't blame voters for the outcome of elections is insane to me. There's no responsibility on the voters? Like none whatsoever?
I mean, to be fair to his point, he's not exactly wrong. I think there are some dumb people in the world that probably shouldn't be allowed to vote, but you know, I would never say or proclaim that they shouldn't be not given the option to, simply because it is their constitutional right to do so. If there was a process to where we can actually determine who is actually mentally sound enough to be able to make decisions that have irreprehensible ramifications, just completely and unmitigated, sort of like probably don't need to use so many fucking big words here for this. Generally speaking, like if there's a process to where we could determine whether or not someone is capable of making the decisions on behalf of an entire country and people, and I think that's a process worth having. I think that'd be a nice little process that's worth having. Could it be abused? Absolutely. I think it could absolutely be abused. I think that it'd be an interesting thing to have. I don't think it's going to work out so well, which is why it's probably a good idea if we don't have it. But I would not hate it, at least for the initial few days that it exists. I would probably not hate it whatsoever. I think it would be an interesting thing. I think it'd be interesting to see how it goes, and if it goes well, then by all means, whoop-de-fucking-do. It actually works the way it's intended to. It's amazing. Let's keep using it until it becomes a problem, and then we get rid of it. But otherwise, yeah. No. I kind of agree with the sentiment a little bit, but but logically speaking, I think that creates more problems than it's going to solve, so I don't necessarily want it to exist, but I do understand the sentiment. Moving on.
Who else am I supposed to...
You blame your party that lost. You blame your candidate. Why were the American people more willing to vote for the guy who did January 6th over your candidate full of hope and joy and rainbows and unicorns or whatever? Is it because the voters are just all stupid idiots? Or is there something a little less simple that you just want to avoid talking about? Taking a step back and looking in the mirror is gonna do you real good. Democrats don't have a messaging problem. America has a racism problem. Kamala ran a flawless campaign in 100 days, and I refuse to let y'all gaslight me into believing anything other than that.
Did she just put up 2 random Twitter users? Do we know who those people are? Who were those people? I don't even know who those... I'm pretty sure they were just random people.
Random Twitter users whose posts went viral, yes. It's a small sample of the discourse happening amongst the people, which is pretty important to show. I know the concept of listening to average everyday people is completely foreign to you, but it is important to show what people are saying about their country's election, not just what politicians and the media are saying.
The Democratic Party, we have to contend with progressives that are constantly shitting on the Democratic Party for not being socialist enough, and we have to contend with MAGA, who are constantly shitting on the Democratic Party for, you know, eating children and worshiping Satan.
And then you got the weirdos who believe both those things.
For people like Shoe on Head, it's like, okay, it's easy, man. You just don't be woke, don't be feminist, you know, Don't root for like black lesbians in Disney shows, and then just do socialist policies.
I like how his approach to this. I got two things to say about this. I like how his approach to this is like, why are we listening to normal everyday people? Why shouldn't you listen to normal everyday people? Are you fucking stupid? Do you not want to win your elections? Knowing where people are coming from, knowing how people feel about your party, is going to help you out in the long run to better tackle the issues of what you need to do in order to win voters, in order to win people onto your side, than continuously spurging out online, regurgitating your useless, shitty opinions on the daily and expecting it to work like the literal definition of insanity. You know, you think these people would eventually learn this point at some point, but no, I guess they're all Voss. I guess we're all living in Far Cry world just as much as we live in MGS2 world, but that's neither here or there. The other interesting point that he makes is we don't want people don't want black lesbians in Disney shows. And it's like, okay, first off, first things first, let's get this out of the way. Nobody cares if there are black people in Disney shows. Nobody cares if there are other ethnicities and other cultures and peoples in Disney shows. In fact, Disney's kind of made a brand of taking specific cultural stories and cultures in general and turning them into Disney princess movies, among other things. Lesbians, however, that's a concept we don't need in Disney shows. Why is that a thing? I'll give you a pretty good fucking reason why. It's because when your child sits down, your 3 to 5 year old child sits down to watch a Disney princess movie, or whatever fucking have you, like Zack and Cody, whatever the fuck it is, and they come from that, and they go up to you, and they ask you, Daddy, what is a gay person? What's a lesbian? What's a pansexual? And how do you even navigate that? How do you even... I am literally throwing my arms up right now, because, like, how do you even navigate this question? What do you even say? Children should not be thinking about... They're not old enough to be seriously considering things about, like, different sexualities and sexual preferences, which, let's be technically honest here. It's basically what it is. Do you like body type A, or do you like body type B? That's basically what this argument amounts to. To grossly simplify the explanation here, that is basically the argument. Is, do you like body type A? Do you like body type B? Would you rather play with this genitalia or that genitalia? This is literally the question being asked here. And you really want children to be thinking about... No. No, you do not. Why people want this in children's shows baffles my fucking mind. It's like, they don't need to be thinking about this. The only thing they should be worrying about is not getting bullied in school and whether or not they're getting good fucking grades. They could think about this shit when they're fucking old enough to drink or vote. Or they are old enough to drive, for fuck's sake. They don't need to be thinking about this shit while they're fucking 2 or 3 or 8. They don't need to be thinking about this crap. Who thinks this is a good idea? Oh yeah, let's put this shit in Disney princess shows and other things. That's not terrible at all. That's not gonna create problems. That's not gonna be a weird conversation to have with a fucking 5-year-old. Oh yeah, Dad, what exactly does it mean to be a gay person? Oh well, you basically you prefer to have intercourse with a guy rather than a woman. You prefer sucking dick than sticking your meat rod into a woman. Again, how the fuck do you broach this conversation, my guy? How do you navigate this? Other than making up some fantastical shit like the equivalents of, oh, where do babies come from? Storks deliver them. How do you approach this conversation? You don't. You don't have this conversation. And therefore, you never have to even think about this conversation. And therefore, they don't have to think about it either. They can just go back to focusing on the same stupid shit that I had already talked about. This is not something we need to be having a conversation about at the right old age of 3 to fucking 8 years old. They can have this conversation in middle school, for fuck's sake, or high school. They don't need to have this conversation now at a young enough, impressionable enough age where the only thing they should be worried about is just having enough, to put it in Badger terms, enough firmware updates to where, like, they have all the necessary programming knowledge and information necessary for you to be able to fucking survive in this honestly disgusting, decrepit piece of shit garbage world that we live in, this nightmare fucking existence that we all live, that's run by social crediting and other fucking stupid, idiotic nonsense, whatever happens to be the most important in that particular day and instance. It's like, I can't even right now, but you get the point. We don't need this conversation. We don't. Don't introduce this into children's programming. Knock it the fuck off.
Alright, back up. I am not delusional. I do not want to implement socialist policies in America because, first of all, I do not trust America to do those correctly. I'm talking about basic, normal, social democratic policies like Norway and Denmark have. Universal paid family leave, universal health care, at least a public option, better transportation like a high-speed rail, better protection for workers, higher wages, blah blah blah. And yes, no woke shit. Do you know how popular a platform like that would be? You get a candidate up there like that, you're winning all 50 states.
So, I mean, I would love to hear what she suggests besides just, like, elect Bernie Sanders.
Put up a good politician. That is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Someone who actually cares about the working class. Not Bernie Sanders. He's like 100 years old. Someone like Bernie Sanders, sure. Bernie Sanders with more of a spine. Combine Trump and Bernie Sanders. I am committing voter fraud and voting for that man 300 times. I am storming the Capitol for Donald Sanders. After this, Democrats are gonna move right in the dumbest ways. They're gonna become like the new neocons, but gay.
I think they will too. And one of the reasons why they're going to do that is because they know people like you are not a reliable voter. You're not.
You are correct. I am not a reliable.
I think it's safe to say, to be fair to his point, I think it's safe to say that I think over 50, maybe 60, maybe 70% of the American population probably isn't a reliable voter. Because I don't think we're near... I can attest to this. Just speaking for myself as well, I don't think we know nearly enough about the inner workings or the goings-on behind the scenes well enough to be able to appropriately circumvent as well as navigate our political system. And I think that's probably one of the greatest tragedies of all. But granted, I don't think anybody wants to sit through that fucking can of worms, that wants to delve through that fucking proverbial soup to be able to find all of the right letters and know-how and all of the right letters, things, and pasta sauce among, well, not pasta sauce, you're kind of going into the sauce, but finding all of the necessary things to be able to appropriately and logically make reasonable decisions, an informed decision. I don't think we're going to be able to get there because I think there's just too many dumb people right now, too many people who don't care about politics, granted, who just do not want to bother sifting through that proverbial soup. I don't think anybody wants to do that. I don't want to do that, for fuck's sake. And if I don't want to do that, I don't expect anybody else to do it. So, that being said, I don't know what else to say other than the fact that nobody wants to do that. And so so until somebody wants to actually do that, no one is going to be informed on anything, especially about the inner workings of our political system. I mean, we have elements in place to where we can make better informed decisions, but it's not like we know everything that goes on. We don't know what the inner workings are. We don't know what the relationships are between these politicians, these corporations, these legislators, among other things. We don't know any of this shit. I mean, like, unless if someone makes it their job to know this shit, no one's gonna know that. So we're all kind of just voting blind and hoping for the best. Reasonably. So, yeah, to be fair to his point, I don't think anyone's informed to make that decision. I don't think the average American voter is informed enough to make any sort of reasonable decision on that front, my guy. But granted, I don't think I don't think we're that cooked just yet. I don't think we're so cooked in the way that he's implying it, but yeah.
Voter. I will not vote blue no matter who. And guess
Actually, given that example, I think we're actually more cooked than he's presenting, in fact, that I think about it, but you know what? I'll leave that up for debate.
what? Most of the country is like me. Does that scare you? Good. Me not being a reliable voter is not an excuse for Democrats to not listen to voters like me. If anything, it's the complete opposite. They should be trying to get the votes from people like me. Politicians and parties are not owed your vote. They have to earn it. They have to work for it. And many people thought the Democrats did not work for it. In fact, I don't even think they wanted to win, but that's a whole nother can of worms I don't want to open right now.
Large factions of the left condescendingly believe that dumb people are the reason Trump won in 2016 and won again in 2024. And that
Well, I mean, you know, yeah.
Vance, when you win 2028, put me some
Half right, half wrong. That's all I'm going to say on that subject. I've already given my reasons why. That's all I need to say.
more in communications. Let me run your Twitter account. I'm a millennial too. Nobody will know the difference. Plus, we wear the same amount of eyeliner. Okay, that is enough hutch for one lifetime, thank you. Next.
Ouch.
Please let the next person be sane. Please save my brain cells. Come majestically galloping in to save us.
Oh, holy shit. I know this lady.
I take back the galloping part.
Can I be real with you guys? People are going to hate me for this one. I stand by the criticisms that I've made of Shoe on Head, but I will say this. If Shoe had been a respected voice in the Democrat consultancy circles, Kamala might not have lost. I have criticized her so many times for the populist brain rot, but oh boy, if anyone could use populist brain rot driven right into their skulls right now, it would be the Democrats.
I hate the fact that he's right, but he is right on this point. I even said the same fucking thing in one of my in my Shoe on Head reaction video that got I think it's the one that got 3,000 views right now. If the Democrats actually bothered to put in influencers or any type of actual things that people care about representing their party when it came around time to start campaigning and voting, they probably would have done a hell of a lot better than they did during this election. They would have done so much better if they skipped the celebrities and they just went straight to get influencers, get podcasters, get everyone and anyone that people actually pay attention to and have them represent us in our official capacity. We probably wouldn't be nearly as cooked. And surprisingly, amazingly, astonishingly, they did not do that. Instead, they got a bunch of fucking useless celebrities who don't know their own heads from their own asses. But you know what? That's also neither here or there. Yeah, they got a bunch of useless people to represent them, and so they got a really shitty turnout because they're fucking stupid. But anyways, I will give him this. I don't know much about this guy other than some of the memes that are made about him, but I will give him that point. If they had actually bothered to put people in charge of actually, best representing their party, their campaign, if Kamala actually bothered to get actual, real, influential people that the normal, everyday American and citizen actually gives a shit about, that the populace actually, the proletarian, the populist vote, the proletarian voter actually gives a shit about, they would not have had this problem. They would have actually stood a better chance. They would have stood a much better chance at winning the election, at the very least, than if they had gotten the fucking celebrities and they were all circle jerking to each other all across the entire campaign tour. It was the most. It's the stupidest thing they did. It's so simple. I hate this shit. But yeah, I hate the fact that he's right, but he is so right about this. Fucking, you get people who actually care and give a shit about decent policy, and among other things, because it's been proven that Democrats do actually make better policy than Republicans do. Granted, they'll probably sneak some stupid shit in there, but at least they'll be doing some. They'll do some actually decent things using policy and putting acts and legal documents together than whatever the fuck the Republicans are going to do. But, you know, like, the Republican Party can't afford to screw up now that they are in the position that they are in. They have to actually bother to put things in place that people actually give a shit about, or else they'll be crucified the next time around. Or, you know, the entire system could just fall apart next time around. Because, you know, that could happen too. I don't know. I can't predict the fucking future, but, you know, it's just a wonder how stupid the Democratic Party is. You literally had one job. Get people involved who actually represent the people, who actually give a shit about the little guy. You are the party of the little guy, for fuck's sake. Get people who actually give a shit about normal, everyday people. I even said that people like this motherfucker behind me should be... If they got people like Vosh, if they had gotten people like this son of a bitch behind my avatar right now to do this, they would have stood a little bit of a better chance than if they had gotten the celebrities. And I will stand by this point because it's true. They literally fucked it. They fucked it harder than anyone ever could have expected. I mean, like, I would have been shocked, surprised even, if they had won. And if they had, it would have just been confirmation right there and then that they had totally and utterly rigged the elections for me.
28 minutes.
I had that little fate.
25 minutes till stream ends. And I have to read donos. I don't know about that one, Chief.
There's probably stuff in here that I maybe can watch in the future.
Wait, he doesn't even watch the video? Watch the video, coward! This is an official call to the shoe simps. Calling the SS! We attack at dawn. Go tell Vosh to watch the video. This is bullshit. I was clickbaited. On to the next guy. Okay, this guy is called Uninformed Leftist. Let's see if he lives up to his name.
So let's get into this. Shuan had made another video. It's called The Downfall of the Democrats.
Oh, big congratulations to Tim Walz on being the first white male DEI hire. It didn't work. The DNC...
Okay, so Tim Walz is not the first white male DEI hire. Joe Biden's been a white male DEI hire. George Bush is. Mitt Romney was. Every single president
has I just move myself. I feel like I should just move myself since everyone's on the right.
And the Republicans realize that America is
for the far right confirmed
country. Thus, we must run white people. So saying that Tim Walz is the first DEI hire is a little bit telling. And what is it telling?
A joke. It's telling a joke.
Well, it's telling that Shuan had like the topic of race and gender.
Here, I'll just minimize myself.
What?
Now listen, do I think it's true that Kamala Harris lost because she's black and she's a woman?
Please say no, please say no, please say no.
I hate how weirdly handsome this guy is. For someone, at least he calls himself exactly what he is. He is very uninformed. And he's explaining DEI like a dumb person would explain, you know, and I'm not even going to get into this. The point being, I don't think he understands exactly what he's saying when he talks about DEI, and even if he does, you know, like he's not using it in a way that people actually recognize or understand DEI to be. When people think of DEI, they think of diversity hires. I don't see how white people are included as diversity hires when there's nothing diverse about our political system. Clearly, because of the fact that we need DEI hires to begin with. I mean, like, the fact that there's a majority of fossils of Caucasian people in office is a pretty good testament to the fact that it's not very diverse of an ethnic group or any type of primordial soup now, is it? It's not. So the idea that he's using DEI as a thing that somehow explains or justifies the amount of white people that are in office is weird. And also, I don't know, actually, now that I think about it logically, what the fuck is his actual point when it comes to DEI? Oh yeah, he's trying to debunk the DEI hire joke for that. Who the fuck was he anymore? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, Tim Walz. He's trying to debunk it in a way that's kind of stupid. Actually, no, I'm just going to say exactly what it is. It is stupid. Because it's a joke about diversity and inclusion hires because it's from a party that cares so much about diversity and inclusion that they put that at the front of everything else. But granted, I will give him this. He's at least handsome enough to pull off the flesh trooper bit. So there you go. And he's also calls himself exactly what he is. So, you know, you can't knock him for that either. You know, I will give him the props for being exactly what he is unapologetically. You know, you do you, my guy. I have nothing else to say to you other than you are exactly who you say you are, and all the more power to you.
Honestly, yes, I do.
Obama is black and did phenomenally. Hillary is a woman and won the popular vote. I hate this delusion and this cope that Kamala lost because she's a black woman. No. If she was a white man, would she have maybe won a little more votes? Sure, I'm not denying the existence of racist misogynists. I'm looking at one right now. But enough votes that she
Fuck you.
Absolutely not.
A district that's 97% Latino went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on their doorstep. And they were begging people to care about it for years. We need to take some lessons.
There's a lot of misogynistic Latino men. Like there's a lot of misogynistic men in general, but Latino men, like they're fairly Christian, they're fairly conservative, and misogyny goes hand in hand with those two. So
Latino men are misogynists? Yeah? Is that why the f***ing president of Mexico is a woman and has like an 80% approval rating?
It's funny that he says that Latinos are misogynistic when their entire language is also gender-coded. My brother in Christ, just because they might have a more so stringent sort of like how do I put this? Just because they put a lot of hyperfixation on gender roles, potentially, maybe, as well, you know, at least when it comes to their language, as well as probably how their families and how their communities operate, that doesn't necessarily make them misogynistic. You know what makes people misogynistic? It's when women say stupid shit, and they call men stupid things, and they expect men to actually give a shit about their problems, despite the fact that they call them all kinds of ists and phobes for not actually agreeing with them, or because they think that their opinions are just erroneous or stupid, and among other things, right? It's like, there are reasons why certain things exist, and if there are misogynists in this world, you created them. You created the monsters you hate. And that's not, again, not to dispute the fact that, yeah, there are probably some real legitimate people who are probably genuine, terrible people. Like, there are people who probably do enjoy, demeaning, debasing. There are probably people out there who do, there are people out there who do enjoy these things and do enjoy, doing, even going as far as, doing hard R's to people. That doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's like this. Some people are born into it, sure, but a lot of people are made. A lot of people are made into that. All right, we make our own monsters. Rarely are they ever bored. So, never mind. I'm moving on.
Maybe Kamala Harris just f***ing suck. You ever consider that? Maybe going, nothing's gonna change when I'm president, f***ing sucks. After the election, a YouTuber I am subscribed to uploaded a video called How the Right is Winning Young Men.
I have such mixed feelings about this. I do. Unpopular though it is on the left to like give grace to the male loneliness epidemic. I have mixed feelings about it. I'm picking.
I'll move over here.
Carefully so
move closer to center.
Like, don't rake me over the coals for this, but I think that I understand.
Oh, I have to pick my words carefully so my own movement doesn't attack me for caring about men's issues. You see the issue?
Chewin Head, again, doesn't really offer any analysis. She makes a joke. So essentially, what is her joke? Her joke is that the guy's gay.
What? Oh, we're streaming from Earth 2 again. Here comes Hat on Foot, hating the gays again. The joke was not about him being gay. There wasn't even a joke. My point was that he's nervous to talk about men's issues in fear of the left attacking him, and it shouldn't be that way.
That's pretty gross from Chewin Head. Do I need to spell that out for you? She does this whole, like, gay impression.
Gay impression? That's literally what he fucking sounded like. These people have, like, terminal identity politics brain.
All right, let's just read a few comments.
Oh no, not again. I swear to God, if you guys embarrass
I don't understand also this approach to reading people's comments. Like, they're reading comments. It's like, oh, I can't find anything. You know what this really tells me? Is that they're literally so bankrupt for things to criticize because she's so on point that they literally have to go to her comment section to find ammunition. That's what that's what that tells me, because otherwise, I never stop to consider at all at any points when listening to a debate or conversation that I need to go refer to the comments section, because like to find some opinions or knuckleheads that I need to chew out. I don't ever think this way because it's not something that I feel particularly like I need to do. Like, I feel like I'm decently I feel like I'm how do I put this? I feel like I'm sophisticated enough as a person. I am intellectually sound enough as a person to not have to go refer to to a majority of other people who watch the video to know what the opinions are about the video. I feel like I don't need to do that. Like, even if it's like a video that I watched that I agree with, like, I don't feel like I need to go to the comment section every time I watch a video to just be reaffirmed on the points that I already know and that I already agree with. All right? I'm not that cooked. I'm not that stupid. I'm not that liberal enough to where I need to be reaffirmed. I need to have my mental faculties massaged. I need to have You get my point. I feel like this is more so an attempt to fish for ammunition than it is to have a genuine attempt to actually find some comments that actually explain what she's actually saying, which is, I'm sure, what they're going to try and excuse it as. It's just, I'm done. Let's move on. I'm done.
In front of Hassan 2 here, I will turn this video around and we are going home.
Shuan head dropping the hard truth bombs as usual. Bro, at least Bernie Sanders got to say a big "I told you so." Okay, that's kind of, I don't know, it gives me a little bit of hope. Democrats forgot they had to be likable. Okay, that's kind of true. You can't hide your monster addiction by putting it in Y class, June. Okay, that's a good point. They will learn nothing and blame everyone. Yeah, unfortunately, that's true.
Okay, he's just agreeing with all the comments. I love that they keep doing this. I love that they keep checking the comments, expecting some terrible shit, and it's just pee pee poo poo 69 going epic video, mommy.
They do this all the time, and they do this on social media as well. Like, if you have a social media account and they want to fish for something to bitch and gripe at you about, they'll look up something from people you're subscribed to, people you follow, or things you've said 10 years ago, and they'll use it as ammunition to discredit you. And it's like, how about you just discredit the point and not go looking for things to throw in my face? Is that something you're capable of doing? Is that a thing you are capable of doing? Are you this bankrupt mentally on arguments that you have to go and be a woman, essentially, and try to pull up the past? You gotta dig up the past to find something to throw in my face? Is this something you're doing right now? I know I just made look, if you're at this point, let's just accept it. I will make consistent women analogies because I'm just this mentally checked out on the dating scene as well as women entirely. I've given up hope on not just the millennial women, but the Gen Z women as well as further down. It's just you're all cooked. You're all cooked. Just flat out. And granted, there are probably decent members among you, but I am not going to be digging and sifting through all of the horse shit to find the gemstones in this diamond in the rough. There's no point to it. There's just no point. Anyways, I'm moving on before I say something that's gonna get me canceled.
Okay, so
if I haven't already.
Next.
Hi, my name's Anthony Jones. I like to talk about politics and the culture war in the UK and America. Today I'm going to react to Shuan Head's most recent video, Downfall of the Democrats, the Truth About the 2024 Election.
Aw, this guy looks like a wizard. He's like a jolly little garden gnome. I don't even mean that in a mean way. He just looks whimsical, like he's gonna help me on a quest through some.
To be fair and honest, I think she has more leeway to get away with calling someone a wizard than I do. If I call someone a wizard, I'm gonna get crucified immediately. I fit all of the right. I fit. How do I put this? I fit the necessary checks and balances to be immediately discredited if I make even so much as a potentially inflammatory statement. All right. Women can get away with a lot in this world. I can't. Just flat out. Like, I could say some stupid shit, and I could get canceled for it almost immediately, depending on how inflammatory it is, and depending on how stupidly I present it. You know, like, she has a bit more leeway in this regard. I don't. She will still get crucified for it, but she could still make it out. I probably won't. Especially me, because I have a persecution complex, and I'm probably going to shut down immediately upon getting flamed. So I'm very careful about the shit that I say, almost to the point of nauseam.
Enchanted forest. Please be sane and normal, Gnome Bro. I am running out of hope.
Yeah, Trump objectively is the representative of the working class. Traditionally, it was Latinos, blacks. People would vote for Democrats. Now, it's highly educated people who vote for Democrats and actually working class people who traditionally would vote Democrat have voted for Donald Trump. This is a massive change in the demographics, and people want something different. They don't want the same old, same old. And that's what Kamala Harris...
That is the general consensus.
This is essentially why she failed to appeal to voters.
Yes!
And in that regard, he is not wrong.
Oh my god, how refreshing. Yes, 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 yes. We're so fucking back, Gnome Bros. Okay, let's keep listening. Let's not get our hopes up. Everyone was so sure dangerous, devious, dastardly Donald would never make his way back into the White House to steal democracy. And he did it. With democracy.
Democracy has been bought in America. It really has. The idea that influence is like objective and everyone's informed and it's a level playing field for both sides is simply not true. Democracy implies the voters were informed, they knew what they were voting for, they weren't lied to, they weren't sold misinformation. People are massively misinformed on Donald Trump. They were lied to, they don't believe a lot of the accusations against him. It's more...
I mean, it's hard to believe anything the Liberal Party, the Democratic Party says when their argument is, just believe me, my guy, I know I'm right. It's... They fly by the seat of their pants, and they fly with their hearts at the collars of their... What was that analogy again? I'm screwing that one up, but you get the point, right? They speak more about feeling and emotion than they do about facts and logic, and that's the reason why they suck so hard and why they are failing consistently. It's because they lead with emotion rather than logic, which is what people want. People want reasons to care. They don't want feelings or having their emotions played with. You know, they don't want to feel Assange in their line of thinking. They want to know why they should think this way in the first place, which is a womanly way of thinking. I need to be careful. I'm gonna get fucking flamed. But I don't think I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong? I think some women can agree on that, at least. I think some women can agree that they lead more with emotion than they do reason. I mean, like, they get into stupid arguments for dumb shit reasons. I mean, like, I think we can all recognize and agree that it's just the way it is. All right, I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm saying it as just a fact of nature. It is just the way it is.
More complex, and it is actually very complex.
It's really not that complicated. It's exactly what you said earlier. Trump offered something, Kamala offered nothing. Whether you agree with the vision or not, Trump had a vision. It's like in 2016 when Hillary Clinton made that America is already great hat. No one wants to fucking hear this. No.
Which I did not know she did, which is pretty fucking stupid. It's like, America is already great. That's a fucking lie. I'm pretty sure anyone and everyone who could have looked at that could have probably been like, yeah, that's a fucking lie. I'm pressing X to down on that one, dog. You think you can give us another one?
No one believes that. You have to give the people a vision. A lot of them don't believe what the media says about Trump because a lot of them don't trust the media, and I'm gonna be so dead ass. Do you blame them? As a Bernie bro, as a Bernard brethren, do you blame them? It's up to the media to prove themselves trustworthy, and in my opinion, they just haven't done that. The mainstream, corporate media, liberal and right-wing, does not have a good reputation. Oh my god, that reminds me, I was watching Fox Business the other morning. Don't ask. But holy shit, you think right-wing media online is bad? What the f*** are the boomers watching? Also, Kristi Noem showed up on the TV, and my baby was like, Mama. Really, bro? Okay, last one.
I mean, she's just old enough to be somebody's mother.
This guy is called Dima
At least from the looks of it.
Okay, Dima, what do you have for us?
I don't know what to predict here. I've only seen 2 Shoe on Head videos, and I follow her on Twitter. She hasn't been very active on Twitter recently. I don't know why. I think she got married and had a kid. But either way, from what I remember of her Twitter, it was fairly progressive. Some little, tidbits of, radical, centrist, reactionary stuff a little bit here and there.
I like how just, nobody understands me. America is so terminally left-right brain.
Get in line, Shu. Nobody understands anybody when you're a part of the Democratic Party. The only thing they understand is terminology and talking points. They don't have a brain for anything else. They probably don't even have the capacity to register facial features. They're that cooked. Let's be honest. The brain rot is so real, they probably don't even remember what they fucking ate that morning. They're probably, especially since they're probably too focused on literally losing their fucking minds on whatever proverbial shitstorm that is happening that current moment. Like, everything's off the table with these people. They probably have the memory of a goldfish. They probably don't even remember, what they've done that particular moment prior to having been immediately and irreprehensibly, accosted by whatever stupid shit they happened to see that particular moment in time that made them really angry and led them to shitposting online, like they typically tend to do on every day, if not on the occasion. It's just, there's no point. There just really isn't. There really is no point trying to reason with these people. You can't reason with stupid people, all right? You just can't.
Dude, you can talk about how you want workplace democracy all day, but if you also say something like, I think we should make it harder for children to access porn or something, people are like, oh, I don't know, she's some kind of centrist?
I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back.
What? Anyway, I got a lot of comments on my last video like, wait, you're left.
But if you also say something like, I think we should make it harder for children to access porn or something, people are like, oh, I don't know, she's some kind of centrist?
What? Anyway, I got a lot of comments on my last video like, wait, you're left-wing and you hate the Democrats? Yeah, man.
Okay, so is she coming out as left-wing? Just do it.
Yeah, man, that's a pretty common thing. If you were shocked that I'm left-wing, maybe that's a sign you need to take a step back and evaluate some of the preconceived stereotypes you have of people. Not all of us are crazy blue-haired socialists, no. Some of us are crazy brown-haired socialists. But for those of you—
Hey, yo!
Ugh. Why is he soying out? I hate this. I'm never gonna call myself a socialist again.
For someone like her with such a diverse audience, who gets, millions and millions of views on her videos, someone like her with this much reach, with this much of an audience, and say, hey, look at me, I'm a left-wing socialist, I think is good for the cause.
I don't want to be good for the cause. I'm a rebel. I'm not one of you. You don't love me. Sorry, I'm just burned by all the other videos. I'm like an abused cat.
He also uses the same talking points as the people on Twitter as well. Just like, oh yeah, she's good for the cause. It's like, how about she's just good in general? Why does it have to be like, oh, she's good for the cause? It's like, no, she's just good in general. She's actually half decent. She's at least reasonable. She is sensible. She uses common sense. More than I could say for most people on this fucking party.
Lashing out at a new adoptive owner. He's out here handing me a treat like pss, 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 and I'm like, let's relax.
So, okay, fellas.
In front of them again.
She said she's a socialist. She said she's left-wing. Why do we hate her?
That's such a weird, thing to say.
Gee, I wonder why. Why does anybody hate anybody? That's the realest question there.
She's one of us. She agrees with us politically. Why do we hate her? I don't know. Maybe I'm a fucking asshole.
Kamala Harris being...
We're all fucking assholes.
Of color, is that going to have an effect on some amount of people? Sure it will. Is that why she lost?
Don't say it. Don't say it, please.
I don't think so.
Thank you. Oh my god, the bar is low.
Young men did come out and support Trump, and apparently for the reasons I and many others predicted. We asked young men why they voted for Donald Trump. Here's what they said. What appealed to him about Donald Trump was that
His campaign was not coming after us. He was highlighting the American people, which we are. It doesn't matter what color you are, what you may identify as. Since I wasn't excluded, I resonated with it.
See? That is a dumb person. That is a fucking idiot.
Okay. I'm doing the thing they do. I'm pausing before he finishes his sentence. Let's hear him out. When you tell a young white guy, hey, you're an oppressor, and because you're white, you have privileges that your black and Hispanic peers didn't have, and you're inherently at fault, or you're guilty for that, which is what a lot of the left wings or Democrats are saying.
Yeah, I mean, you are, as a white person, you do have, systemic privileges that people of color in this country don't have for a variety of reasons. That's just the truth.
Alright.
Okay, well, to be fair on this point, I won't say that racism doesn't exist, but what I will say is that I'm not likely to get double checked at a fucking airport than I would if I was black and I had a last name that sounded very, very much representative of that. So yeah, I think there's certainly a debate even, but a point to be had here. But outside of, like, social issues, I think when it comes to opportunities, I think we have more people bending over backwards trying to get people in charge and in positions of power, as well as just being sort of, like, candidate representatives of, like, certain companies and affiliates of that company, precisely for this reason, rather than, hiring people for the reasons that are obvious, which is, merit. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to hire this person, and maybe down the line, like, not only will this person think to themselves, wow, he hired me and he gave me an opportunity, maybe I'll have an undying loyalty or fealty for this person. That's probably how they're thinking, but they're probably doing it just to fulfill checks and balances. The other aspect of it, of course, is, well, actually, those are the two main ones that I can think of. But the main thing, though, is that when it comes to hiring opportunities, among other things, that it has nothing to do with societal issues, yeah, I don't fucking see that anyway. When it comes to police pulling you over and the likelihood of you getting arrested or you getting checked, you getting strip searched, or among other things, yeah, I think African Americans in particular have that problem far more than most, than your average white person. But that's neither here or there. I'm not gonna touch this can of worms more than I already have. But the biggest understanding of this whole gripe is that yes, there are systemic issues. Yes, there are certain stigmas within certain areas of our culture. But when it comes to hiring opportunities as well as the ability to excel, that's where everyone has a playing field. At least they should have a playing field. And that point in particular should never be put into question. Everything else, certainly. When it comes to societal issues, certainly. Job opportunities, the ability to excel, the ability to get educated, these are not really issues. In fact, we're seeing more so nowadays people bending over backwards to get these people in these positions to fill these roles rather than the opposite. So yeah, I disagree with this to a point. I disagree with it fundamentally in the context of, like, workmanship and opportunities as well as educational purposes. But no, when it comes to societal issues, yeah, that's a little bit more nebulous. It's a bit more debatable. But I don't have any real. I don't think it's really a whole lot of racism. It's not, and even when it comes to this point, too, by the way, it's not necessarily so much racism as it is, like, it's a learned behavior, right? And you could argue that a lot of racism is predicated on learned behaviors, right? Like, it's kind of like, you know what, I'm not even going to get into this that deeply. The point being is that, there some problems have a reason for existing, and some problems don't. Some problems are just natural, right? They're just as natural as breathing. But most issues are learned behaviors. And, racial profiling should never be a thing that should be legal or allowed or even be considered sensible. But, You know, if a certain type of individual is more likely to do a certain type of thing, you're, regardless of how objectively you approach a certain situation, it's going to be gnawing at the back of your mind either way. And that's all I'm going to say about the topic. That's all I'm going to say on the topic.
Wait, we're gonna disagree here. Now you will see why. Now you will see why they hate me. The only privilege that exists is class privilege. Poor, working class, middle class white people, poor, working class, middle class black people have the same amount of privilege. None. A rich black person has more privilege than a white poor person. Telling a white college-aged man who's struggling to pay off student loans, who can't afford a house, who can't find a job, that he's part of systemic racism and privileged, good f***ing luck.
We're not racist, we're not misogynistic. I mean, see, this is, again, I have to say, actually, we all kind of are racist. But that's boring, that's complex, that takes nuance, that takes time, and no one wants to f***ing hear that shit. Of course that's not gonna f***ing resonate. How do you make it resonate? Maybe you can make it fun.
Make it fun? Hey, white people! You're inherently racist!
To be fair, he was onto something until he said that. So I think the other point, I think the build up to it was at least fair enough of a point until he said that, and now it's a joke. As she's plainly putting it, she has turned it into a bit.
What?
But I don't think there's a way to, put lipstick on the progressive messaging pig. Like, I don't know if we can
That is such an image.
on messaging alone.
Because it's not the messaging. It's not how you are selling the product. It's the product. These guys are being alienated from progressive messaging, not because it's complicated, but because it's stupid and regressive. Young men are tired of being told to pay for the sins of their great-grandfathers. Full stop. That's it. And people aren't just going, systemic racism exists. Like, yeah, maybe that's what you're doing. I don't think you're some kind of, like, woke SJW or whatever. But to pretend like that's the only thing people are doing, it's kind of a cope. You're in denial. Corporations were literally hiring Robin DiAngelo to give PowerPoint presentations to workers on how to be less white. This was a thing that happened. I remember Coca-Cola doing it specifically. Coca-Cola, which, by the way, the CEO of Coca-Cola is now openly praising Trump and, like, hanging out with him. Corpo moment. They really saw the popular vote and were like, later, homos. God, I miss the 90s. I feel like we really had race relations down back then. I don't see color. That worked. That was great. Why did we get rid of that? After the election, one of the only politicians I've seen who is actively trying to understand why people voted the way that they did is AOC. When I met her, I whispered into her ear, "Take the pronouns out of your bio." And she did. Anyway, after the election, AOC found out that a ton of people voted for her down ballot, but also voted for Trump for president on the same ticket. Curious, she took to her Instagram to ask people why they did that. And these were some of their answers. I feel like Trump and you are both real. It's real simple. Trump and you care for the working class.
Ugh. Trump and you care for the working class. Just complete, diametrically opposed entities. AOC and Donald Trump. Insane, man.
Do you know how many people used to like Bernie Sanders and now vote for Donald Trump, and vice versa? There are so many conservatives I know who used to be Bernie Sanders supporters. Is it because Bernie and Trump are so much alike? No. But their rhetoric, how they spoke, who they spoke to, who they fought for or claimed to fight for, the forgotten man, the American worker. This is populism, and throughout history, populism could be used for good or for evil. And like I said in many of my videos, if you don't understand this, you're never gonna get it. Maybe this is a one-time thing, maybe it's just because of Trump or inflation, or maybe the meme is coming true. Maybe Republicans are the new party of the working class. Democrats.
That's just so insane, man.
See, this is one reason I don't see why you should blame the voters. Like, obviously the Democratic Party is doing something wrong if blue-collar, working-class people of all races are moving towards the Republican Party. And the Democrats are only gaining with old women and coastal elites. The voters don't see you as the party for the little guy. They see a literal billionaire as the party for the little guy. You are doing something wrong! I hope the male loneliness epidemic eats
He's
you,
not
MAGA
wrong.
scum
That's
alive.
crazy.
I hope you feel a hole in your
your soul and feel unloved until your dying day. I hope you rot in your deathbed, wondering why women looked at you like you had rabies your whole life as your eyes closed for the last.
I'm not gonna defend this. This is not good or healthy.
Honestly, Gnome Bro and this guy have been pretty reasonable. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe not all Democrats are doomed. Maybe there is a chance a Democrat wins 2028. Maybe some really do get it.
Some liberals use the occasion to look down upon the icky dummies who were too stupid to know they shouldn't vote for Trump. Yet
I mean, where's the lie?
So that was that video. That is all I can take. Ladies and gentlemen, they are not sending their best.
He was sensible just until that last bit. He was sensible and just until that last bit. He had a lot of good points. He represented himself pretty well. And he had a lot of opinions that were not terrible, that were not erroneous, inflammatory, or even just straight up Islamophobic, tokenistic wording and things. But he did actually have points. He presented those points clearly and well enough. He presented them deftly enough to where you can actually see the logic and the reasoning behind it. And more so to the point, like he was just exercising a level of understanding and empathy that I wish most people from this political party could have, until this last bit where it's just like, okay, well, clearly he's at least understanding up to this point. This is the part that he needs to be educated on. So I haven't given up hope on that particular guy. I think he just doesn't understand why people voted for Donald Trump and why people would vote for Donald Trump and why I did. But I mean, like, at least I attempted to. But, I feel like that he's at least open enough about this conversation and is at least reasonable enough to have this conversation. I would rather be in a debate with this guy than with somebody else. And don't have me on that either. I am not accepting debates. I am not doing armchair debates from my goddamn room on the foot of my fucking bed. But yeah. That's it. Them's the ropes.
Despite it all,
we're here at the end. Just in time for the video to be over.
That is enough of my yapping. Now I want to hear you yap. Do you think Democrats will learn their lesson? Do you think a pendulum swing is going to happen in 2028? If you like this video, please consider donating to me.
I think it's safe to say it's already happening, but, I mean, that's also neither here or there. That's certainly debatable, but I think it's already happening. The fact that a lot of companies are on the side of Trump on this one is pretty telling of that. But yeah, let this play out.
Me on Patreon, link down below. Or if you want to give a little one-time donation, there's like a little tip jar somewhere here. It really helps the channel a lot, and I appreciate it so much. And I will see you guys with a new video soon.
That was that video. God. So yeah, that was Blame the Voters by Shoe on Head. Yeah, it's exactly what I expected it to be.
It also means Trump has once again been inaugurated. Inaugurated?
The fuck. Anyways. But yeah, that was a video. And, I've already seen reactions to this video, as well as just watched it myself. So I could certainly tell you, that yeah, we're fucked. We're so fucked, both democratically and also just if we have Democrats in office, we're so fucked. It's kind of funny how fucked everything is. But anyways, yeah, that was that video. My only thoughts on this is that they're not going to learn anything. They're still not going to learn anything, as evidenced by what we just fucking saw. Do I think the pendulum swinging thing is happening? Yes, I think it is happening. I think there's certainly an argument to be had there. I think it's been happening for a while. I think the fact that we're canceling a lot more DEI projects than is typical, at least as far as 2016 is concerned, I think, yeah, there's certainly a pendulum swing happening, and among other things, but, you know, the fact that the country voted mostly right, and the fact that we had such a monumental swing when it came to Donald Trump being put into office is pretty telling of the state that the country is in, as well as just the state of our political system. It's also very evident to why there's so many companies now opting to move out of the DEI projects, why they're canceling DEI projects, why there's a lot of other things happening in the background, and why, you know, it's just everything is just kind of, you know, going to the wayside of like, we're just gonna focus on making money. And that's honestly the only thing a company should focus on, is just making money. But otherwise, that was that video. Another Shoe on Head video, and it's always so interesting, even though I've already seen the video. I shall like to hear what you all have to say in the comments below. And if this pops off like the last one did, you know, that'd be great. I'm not crossing my fingers or nothing, but I hope to see you all at least in the next video. Before I actually end this video, I will say that I am thinking about doing another reaction, only it's of a different sort. I'm thinking about reacting to The Epic the Musical. And if that is something you guys would like to see, I'll just, even if you don't know what that is, I'll maybe make a video on it. And, you know, we could just, whether we get through it all the way or not, you know, like just, you know, it might be an interesting video, you know, like if you want to see that, you know, let me know down in the comments. I think I binged The Epic the Musical for like the past 3 days. And I gotta say, it's, I really enjoy it despite the fact it's a fucking musical. The writing is pretty nice, and the way it all works melodically with the story is really nice. It's really fascinating, and I would love to see a stage play of that at some point. But you know, that's only if it actually pops off harder than it already has. It's going to take some resourcing and some sponsors. It's going to take certain types of people to get involved in it. But otherwise, I think that'd be an interesting thing to at least react to. So yeah. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see that. Otherwise, I'll probably just make a video on it anyways. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you all on the next one. And who knows, maybe I'll probably already have that video out because this one's probably going to be a week in advance. I have no idea. So, yeah. See you all in the next one. Bye.